Hey, thanks for listening to Rhythm and Pixels Radio.
Alright, we're back on a Wednesday. Yesterday, I was streaming some more Ace Attorney back at my normal time, which next week, both Monday and Tuesday, will be back at my old normal time. However, I ended up having some phone calls, and a second phone call ended up pulling me away for 2 hours, so I wasn't even able to come back after said call because I was needed, so... unfortunately, we were barely starting the 5th trial. We were doing the examinations where the jury instantly make their decisions and then we have to get them to reconsider. Like we have done every trial so far, we had to do that super early. So, unfortunately, I wasn't even fully through that by the time I had to leave. So, today, we'll be getting at least through that. Because today, we should hopefully be phone call free. I say hopefully because, honestly, who knows? Who the fuck knows? So let me just pull up Ace Attorney. Not sneeze into the microphone. Oh. And let's go. I don't know if I'll do like a super extra long stream today, but it might still just be like 3 hours or however long it takes to get to like maybe a couple continues if we're not like almost done. Also, you can capture the game now. You can capture the game now, right? There we go. Alright, so last where we left off, like I said, we just finished the last bit of examination of the crime scene, and we finally moved on to the first court trial. They're doing like I'm assuming. They're trying to set up that Gina did not fire. There was one bullet in the gun that Gina fired, and it was missing. And the other guys who we think shot Mr. Sholmes only fired one bullet from their gun. The prosecution is trying to assert that the two guys who ran from the store shot at Mr. Sholmes and Gina shot the store man. However, I think that's wrong. I think it's the two guys shot the store man and Gina shot at them and it happened to hit Mr. Sholmes. So we're going to have to figure that out. It's kind of obvious at this point unless the story decides to go completely elsewhere with this. But that's how I'm pretty sure this is going to be going, so we just have to set that up. And I'm starting to feel like if that's their base answer, if we're only going to be getting Gina off, and that's it, we're just going to be getting her declared innocent, there's definitely another huge section of the plot that is going to be saved for the second half of the game. Like every single case we've done so far has had further ramifications we just haven't gotten into yet. So we'll have to see how that goes. Also, the Russian revolutionary is here, which... I don't know. First I thought he was one of the two brothers who did who assumably shot the store owner, or at least currently shot Mr. Sholmes. But now I'm not sure, and I'm really wondering how he fits in on this because he seems like he's reasonable to be a revolutionary assassin. Don't know how much that fits, but we'll see. And kindly hand over the new photographic print to the bailiff to be filed as evidence. Right now, we're getting 2 pictures so we can use them with the thing so we can see everything in 3D. Both shooting photographs have been entered in the court record. And right now, they're still not mentioning that the freaking lantern is shattered. Another print in the court record. I wonder if we can make use of that. In lake of lies are many dead fish. We must find truth. Therefore I say, not guilty verdict.
Hold it!
Can it really show us clues though? Yes, why not? How about the pictures? Are there 2? Yes, there are. It's these 2.
Take that!
Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any 2 suitable photographic prints? Well, of course I can. Very well then. I'd like you to demonstrate. Well, I'd be delighted to. Just give me one more print and I'll amaze you all.
Take that!
Alright, these 2 prints were both taken at the same camera and window banks on the night in question. Yes, I see. Tell me, Mr. Lawyer. Do you know how stereographic images work? Do you understand the principle? Well, I think so. I did have a lesson only yesterday. The left and right eye images need to be the same, only with a slight shift in the positions of some objects. Then, when your brain merges the 2 images together inside your head, it notices the shift in that depth, as if it were depth. Yes, exactly.
Is that small shift between certain objects in the 2 pictures that really important?
So, what happens if you use 2 photographs that are exactly the same then?
No, obviously that wouldn't work at all. Not for seeing the scene 3-dimensionally anyway.
Oh, of course, now I see.
Ah, I think the young girl's discovered the secret.
I have.
Can you uncross your eyes before you tell me?
Have another look at these 2 pictures from Hurley's camera, Runo. Go on. Can you see that there's really obvious difference between them?
Yeah, there's people there and there's people not there. Of course there is. There are 2 people in the first, and no people in the second.
Well, yes, you can see that straight away. But now, try looking at the pictures in 3 dimensions.
Alright, I'll give it a go. So, to start with, you have to cross your eyes and then try to make 2 pictures overlap exactly. Please tell me you're not going to make me try to do that, and you'll just put it over each other and make them 3D models. Let's see if by crossing my eyes I can make the quill pens from each picture overlap in the middle. Wait.
Well, did you manage to see it properly, Runo?
Yeah, trying to get me to actually do this, I don't know what you want from me, unfortunately. I'm just gonna say yes, but what happens if I say not really? I'm just not very good at this. That's the trouble.
Oh, don't worry, I have just the thing.
Whip out the device. There we go.
I happen to bring with me a portable stereoscope.
I know I mentioned this yesterday, but if you've had that contraption with you from the outset, you could have saved me from staring at Mr. Winterbank and Gina like I hate them all that time.
And if you remember, I said in reply that it's much more satisfying to be able to see the effect with your own eyes. Anyway, why don't we try using this helpful little aid now? Here goes.
Okay, that's what they're trying to... You can see a 3D image of that. Huh. Now, let's see what we've got. Wait, look at that. What's going on with these 2 pictures? Some of the things in the counter sort of they sort of jump out at you. Judges cross.
Yes, that's it, you see. That's the other amazing power of stereoscopes.
Other amazing power.
Is someone going to explain this black magic, eh? Either due to some of the things on the counter seem to jump out at you like that, huh?
Well, I think you'll find that if you consider the basic principle of the stereoscope, you'll answer your own question.
Basic principles of the stereoscope.
Well, as I said before, if you try to look at two identical pictures using a stereoscope, it won't work at all. In the slightest shift in positions of certain objects that lets you see pictures three-dimensionally.
In other words, even though at the first glance it seems the objects on the counter haven't moved at all between the two pictures, this shows that actually they must have been slight shift in their positions. I mean, it looks like the doll's legs are sitting further over the counter in the earlier one, and they're pushed back in the second one. So I assume everything is slightly... Yeah, everything is more to the right in the second image. Well, no, more precisely, it's the doll and the books are more to the right in the second one. Oh no, I guess it is. I guess everything is. Yeah, the scale, the candelabras, even everything around that area is slightly further to the right. Yeah.
Yes, there must have been.
Hold fire there, sir. Got a reasonable gap for this whole cross-eyed business now, I'd say. Or grasp. But why the devil does this shift between the two prints exist in the first place? Well, what's the answer, fellow? Come on, you're the cross-eyed master.
What? Me? I haven't the first idea.
You know, Runo, it's quite simple.
It is?
Just think it through step by step. The first photograph was taken at 1 a.m. Then, 30 minutes later, the second photograph was taken. But the position of some items on the counter appears to have shifted slightly in the interim. So, that means...
That means that sometime in the half-hour interval, someone must have tampered with things on the counter.
Zonkers!
Someone tampered?
New information. Stop. Not mention the testimony so far. Stop. Yes. We've had to go around in circles a little here, it seems. But I'm starting to see what I should be aiming at in this summation examination now. Ladies and gentlemen, the question now clear. We know the items on the countertop are moved, but by whom?
Are you suggesting you might know?
Of course. I can tell you right now who's responsible for the almost imperceptible shift in items on the counter. You're gonna have to. Are we gonna say it's Pop or Gina? Was it Pop? Did he push his things, or was it them looking for something that pushed it? I'm not sure. Also, I'm going to assume now that he's one of the three brothers. But I don't know what they want on this one. Are we going to say because they showed up in between when everything moved? Or are we going to say that Pop moved it? I don't know what they want. It's either one of these two or one of these. I'll just say it's one of these guys.
Take that!
It was the witnesses currently in the stand. The Skulkin brothers.
Wait, this does not agree with what brothers said in testimony before. They said they did not even have time to pull dukes from Lucy's lockets. My phrasebook says dukes is meaning hands and Lucy's locket is meaning pockets. But is this another lie? Is this what you are saying?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Now hold on there. Now hold on there a minute. You can't be sure of that.
I quite agree. The accused is a common pick purse after all. It's perfectly possible that she went through the things on the desk to see what she might steal. I think that's unlikely.
And why exactly?
As you can see from this photographic print, the defendant was pointing a gun at the victim. No, she was pointing it at the ceiling. It would seem, as my learned friend indicated, that she was coercing Mr. Windybank to open a storeroom door. In other words, Miss Lestrade's interests lie within the storeroom, not the main shop, giving her no reason to touch anything on the counter. All of which points to one thing. The Skulkin brothers have omitted key facts in their testimony. Not really. Someone could just have bumped into them. They moved slightly to the right. Like it could have been he got bumped into it. They also said they put a button inside the store so they could alert the police if one of these stores was being robbed. That could be where the button is and he went and pressed it and shifted everything. Who knows? But the accursed is a pick purse, common gutter trash. Why look any further for the wrongdoer here? Because the Skulkin brothers are thieves, madam. No better, in fact worse, than a pick purse. I believe that these brothers were looking for something on their victim's counter that night. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you would condemn the defendant on the grounds that she's a pickpocket, would it not be at least the right and proper to thoroughly scrutinize testimony given by her two thieves?
Well said. I, for one, would like to hear more from that shady pair.
As he's keeping his hands bacteria free, so he's slapping it with his head. Even though, like, you can keep your hands held that way all this time, but this is after a while, it's still gonna get covered something on it anyway.
Can you all see now? Well, I think you'll find stereoscopes aren't playthings. They have their extraordinary potential firsthand.
Wholeheartedly agree. Stop. Must purchase after trial. Stop. Will return home via Regent Street. Stop. Well, it would seem this trial is yet to run its course. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury have declared their inclinations via the mighty scales of justice. I hereby call the summation examination to conclusion with the balance altered in the defendant's favor. 2 lean to guilty, 4 lean to not guilty. Accordingly, the jury is without consensus. Then I order this trial to continue.
Yay, well done. Oh, by the way,
What?
you should hold on to this, Runo. You never know when it might come in useful.
Twice in one trial would be unusual, surely, but alright. Yeah, they only spent like an hour focusing on this entire thing, making it a huge part of everything, even giving us evidence beforehand about this. Damn, it would be so weird if it actually came back. In fact, it would be so weird if we used the stereoscope on this part of the picture and not just the other part of the picture and see if they overlap or something weird shows up. I don't know, probably. Or maybe it's just a cat. Who the fuck knows? In fact, I can't wait for the cat to be part of the evidence. This picture means everything. That means there was cameras outside of the store. There were cameras outside of the store because he was writing down all his notes on the back of photographic prints that these things were taking. Oh no, we need to check those other cameras now. What will it show us? The stereoscope has been entered into the court record.
Lord Van Zeeks, we will now spend time playing around with this toy. What will it show us?
Although, considering every evidence slot is filled, unless they give us more, we're full on evidence.
Ah, there's a clue in the back of the...
You have to pop your 2 prints in there to start with, you see?
And then, when you look through the eyepieces, you can see the images in 3 dimensions.
The important thing is to get it right in the position of 2 prints.
I don't know who came up with the idea of stereoscope, but it's really quite fascinating. Will this let me just look at... I wish this would let me just look at any two things at any time. Hopefully it does. Oh, look at that. It's totally changed shape, just from one little button press.
Well, that's what the button is for, Runo. You're just like Hurley. You boys love pressing buttons, don't you? Especially if you don't know what they do.
I mean, a button. You want to press it? Who wouldn't? Us boys, says the 10-year-old girl.
Anyway, now you can see what it really is Anyway, now you can see that it really is a stereoscope, can't you?
Yeah, but can I use it? Or...
You got the Puppy 2 Princeton here to start with, you see?
And then the whole looks VIP, yeah. Alright, so I can't just do it from this screen. I wish there's a way to let me just look at things when I wanted them to, but... You will instruct the witnesses that the court demands additional testimony from them. Oh wait, I forgot that. I'm sure it won't spoil the bouquet to do so, my lord. And I won't stop probing them until I've proven that Gina is innocent. To be continued. Order, please. Let's resume the proceedings. I presume you've heard the defense counsel's summation examination?
Oh, yeah, Governor. Yeah, I did, Gov. I did.
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
Core blimey.
This is going to be hard work. Earlier in this trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions after you entered Windibanks. Well, it was bedlam soon as, weren't it?
It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out of Lucy's pockets.
However, that was a lie. You brothers.
Core blimey.
On the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter.
We never done nothing of the sort. How'd you figure that out?
You will now give formal testimony once again. You will tell the court precisely what happened on the night of the question, and this time, you will tell the truth. Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. Then that, gentlemen, may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. Although worth pondering, perhaps. A thought worth pondering, perhaps.
Say no more, Gov, we hear ya. We'll blab, we'll squeak, we'll peach.
Illegal entry, the whole truth.
Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing. It was when we heard the gunshots, see, made us both jump and all that stuff went flying.
Lummy, it didn't even have to give me a fright. We was thinking the shooter would come out of the door and get us next.
We stuck everything back where we found it and scampered straight into the man in black.
We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never even had a chance, did we? So we admit to the defense's accusation. We did indeed ransack Mr. Windibank's countertop on the night in question.
Not ransack, Governor, no. That's right, Nash. That's right. It's more like we tidied up, yeah. Sorry.
By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled upon hearing gunshots, having first made good their mess. The way I say it, we hardly sound like roughs at all.
We don't, Nash, we don't. Can't it make us sound a bit more cutthroat?
It can't just be coincidence that these men showed up at the Windibanks that night. There's more to their testimony than meets the eye. They must be Transformers. I'm sure of it. Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing. Hold it! If that's the case, then why didn't you testify to that effect in the first place? Well, you know, we ain't exactly squeaky clean, are we?
We ain't, Nash, we ain't. If we admitted to something like that, people would think we was up to no good.
Well said, Ringo. Me old China, we only had ourselves in even more trouble. And in fact now, as with the lying of your previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done. Landed yourselves in even more trouble.
Oh, well, that's rotten luck,
says the Rotten Apple Eater. Witnesses, explain your action to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter?
We never ransacked nothing. Right, Nash, right. More like we tidied the place up. Sorry. It was when we heard the gunshots, see? It made us both jump and all that stuff went flying. Hold it!
So what you're saying is, the sound of the gunshot shocked you so much you knocked all those things off the counter? Well, it shocked one of us that much, yeah. The bag of nerves needs to learn to keep his shirt on.
Look, it was loud, all right. Blimey, me dead granny would have woken up in that bang.
Big brother screamed like a bloomin' baby and fell over on the counter. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot.
That got tangled in some marionette we knocked over, a picture frame, what knocked them scales on the floor.
You really mastered working quietly then.
What a racket! McGranny would have had scared back to her grave at a clatter like that.
So, in short, the gunshot took you by surprise.
And then some. Right? I mean, it was quiet as a mouse, and then all of a sudden, bam!
Excuse me! Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add?
Like I keep saying, I don't appreciate being lumped in with these scoundrels.
No, something to add about their testimony. You seem to react just now about Mr. Skulkin said. Did it make you think of something?
It's probably nothing of this course. I wouldn't even bother to mention it, only... Well, the fact is, cases don't get sold if you ignore the little details.
And how about you just tell us what's on your mind?
As you know, we brought these fellas into the yard for question that night. And the statement they gave then told a slightly different story to what they're saying now.
Did it?
You claimed you heard the victim shout something out before the gunshot.
Might have, Gov, might have. Does ring a bell now you mention it.
Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still, I can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy.
Wait, I had that one, don't I? No, I know I have that somewhere. Wait, no, we can't go with sloppy without me hitting it. Where is it? Stop auto-going! Stop auto-playing! Stop auto-playing! Stop auto-playing! Holy fuck. Uh-oh, was Control making it autoplay? Also, where the hell is Sloppy? I know I have it on here somewhere. Things aren't where they used to be. Oh, I have it on... Why the fuck did I put it on Q?
Sloppy.
There we go. I used to have it on F for Final Fantasy. I don't know why it's on Q. But whatever. I have to relearn where I put all this stuff. Also, I think what did F cause autoplay to happen? The fuck?
Can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy with your testimony there, fellas. If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has hitherto proven to be, I shall be forced to bring the very harshest punishment to bear against them.
Easy, easy. We'll get it right this time. That's it, yeah. It's all coming back to me now. Then speak. Supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously returned to your questionable mind, says. Hey, right you are, Gov. Okay, I actually love this dynamic. I always like the dynamic of, like, the criminal underlings, where one's a bit more serious and the other one's a bit more dumb. And they're even doing the thing where the shorter one is the older brother. I don't know. I love this dynamic of just, like, the bumbling henchman. I just really always like this dynamic when they do this shit. Just before the gunshot, we heard a voice yelling out, "Give me that gun!" Hold it! So in fact, you heard the voice and the gunshot almost simultaneously. We did, Gov, we did! Although, I suppose if you're being honest, we heard a kind of a wavering voice before the yelling all. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun! Bam! Kind of thing. A career in acting, tragically missed. And where were the voices coming from? Could you tell? Of course we could. From the other side of that door behind the counter it was. From the storeroom, where the victim was found dead? And the voice you heard, it was that of the victim, Mr. Windibank. Oh, my granny's life. Of course it was. On his granny's life. Of course it was. Are they sure they're not mixing it up? No, I still think that they're the ones who shot him in the back. So that might have been something that he was saying to her. I still think it was them that shot him. I think the taller one shot him, which caused the younger one didn't expect it to happen. Maybe. Unless there was a third. So, that would mean that you both knew Mr. Windibank and the sound of his voice. So that would mean what? What, Nash? What? Any ideas?
Yes, Counsel, indeed it would.
Nah. We didn't know the geezer. How am I supposed to deny it when that bloke in the fancy cobbler's giving us the evil eye? If you value your lives, you would ensure your testimony is accurate and true. On me granny's life it is. On his granny's life it must be. It's a good job his granny's dead. To summarize then, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, you then hear the gunshot, causing you to stumble and upset the items on the counter, scattering them all over the shop floor. You make it sound like we're clumsy. Don't forget we tied it up after like good little boys. Anyway, the way I see it, the bloke what owned the place was holding a gun, so he should have just fired instead of yelling at the... Aha, okay. He had the gun. The bloke that owned the place was holding the gun, so he would... Okay. Hold it! You're saying that Mr. Windibank had a gun in his hands? Oh yeah. So, Okay. So Mr. Windibank was pointing the gun out of the window at them. And that's probably when the taller brother shot him. And then, just like us in our first case, Gina picked it up off the floor before whatever knocked her out.
Oh yeah, but that was a sight, eh? Them two waving them guns at each other must have been pretty heated. I mean, just before we showered out, we heard the geezer say, if you don't want to get shot.
Didn't really sound like he meant it, Moyne. More of an empty threat, you could say.
Mr. Windibank was known to keep a revolver in his shop counter at all times. People say to protect the articles in his keeping, he'd really put a bullet in someone's head if he yeah, his own head. That someone being himself, of course.
Good grief, extraordinary devotion indeed, if alarmingly misguided.
Well, certainly sounded like he was ready to pull the trigger the other night. Only the person he was gonna shoot beat him to it.
Yeah, you.
Cooked this goose proper.
Betty wished she squeezed the trigger instead of wasting time shouting, "Give me that gun."
And it was directly after those words that you heard the gunshot?
It was more or less at the same time, Gov. Give me that gun.
Kind of thing.
Although, they are saying that the bullet came from lower, so either the hole in the door was lower, so even the taller brother had to shoot up through it, or it was the shorter brother who ended up firing the shot. Yeah, it's a career in acting.
Then we heard the sound of someone in the deck, before everything went dead quiet.
After that, we done a slapdash job tying up the place.
Lummy did not give me a fright. We was thinking the shoot would come out of the door and get us next.
Hold it!
So, you didn't try to open the storeroom door then?
Not in your life.
It went deathly quiet after that, it did. Put the wind right up to me. But anyway, the door was locked, weren't it? No way that was opening.
Yes, of course. It was locked from the inside. Or so we've been led to believe.
It was, Gov, it was, from the inside.
Right, so we had no way of knowing what was going on in there, did we?
Unless there was some other way to get a view of the inside of the storeroom. Like through the keyhole or a spy hole, perhaps.
Don't ring no bells, don't light no lights.
We had to cut and run before we noticed anything like that.
We're still counting our teeth in this game, see? But one day...
We'll really cut the mustard.
Please, cut it out.
But as we know, behind that door was the victim's lifeless body with the accursed not 2 feet away.
Yes, unfortunately. Gina was in there, unconscious, with the gun in her hand.
To confirm, would it be correct to say that neither of you set foot inside the storeroom?
That's right, Gov, that's right.
We couldn't have, even if we wanted to.
We stuck everything back where we found it and scampered straight into him in the back. Hold it!
Yes, whereupon you fired a shot from your own gun at Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Oh, yeah, we was a bit hasty there.
We was, Nash, we was. Truth be told, I was already shaking like a leaf when we got turned up. If you're shaking like a leaf, don't put a loaded gun in your hand. Good advice, miss, good advice.
Truth be told, mine went totally blank.
Before your mind goes totally blank, make sure you don't have a loaded gun in your hand.
No mental note made, miss.
After that, we legged it down the street, but apparently we looked dodgy to a cop or summit, so they capped us in the derbies like we were winking.
After you've been handcuffed, the police found this revolver in your possession, correct?
Well, yeah.
But listen, that proves it, doesn't it? Hey? We couldn't have shut the pawnbroker, see? We never even had a chance, did we?
Hold it!
And why should we believe that?
What?
Well, 'cause it's true, isn't it? That place was totally empty when we went in.
At the time, the victim was already in the storeroom, having been forced to open the door by the accused who had a gun to his head. Huh? In other words, on the night in question, these two witnesses never even laid eyes upon the proprietor of the pawnbrokery at Mr. Rinderbank. Correct?
You got it, mister.
Down to a T. Oh. So the Skulkin brothers never actually encountered Mr. Winterbank? Is that really true, I wonder? That's it? That's the full extent of their testimony?
What is it, Runo? You look very fierce. I could pour you some herbal tea if you're tired.
Oh, thank you, but I'm fine. Being such a logical thinker, you'd probably laugh. But I feel as though these brothers are still hiding something. Something important. It is nothing more than a feeling, though. I have no proof to support it.
Well, feelings can be very logical at times.
Sorry?
People's expressions, the movement of their eyes, the words they choose. You can take all of that in and your brain will quietly analyze it to come up with a feeling, like you described. I've concluded that there's something suspicious about the testimony, knowing why, that's all. I think you should trust your instincts.
Iris, thank you. Sometimes I think she's 10 years old. I must be 5. I think if she's 10 years old, I must be 5. Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing. Okay, so we're back at the beginning again. Now the question is, do I have to go through... Because there was that one time where I had to press them on everything, and then I had to press again on everything for it to give me the proper information I'm looking for. I'm assuming I'm not showing them anything. So everything got pushed slightly over to the right. And they were cleaning that up. Okay, so did the brother knock that over, or was it already a mess? Because they heard shouting and then the gunshot, but I think it sounded like they already cleaned it up beforehand. Also, no one's mentioning the fact that the lamp is broken, which, I mean, come on. What are we doing here? No one's even mentioning that it's broken a half hour later. Just before the gunshot, we heard a voice yell out, "Give me that gun." The bloke what owned the place was holding a gun, so he should have just fired it instead of yelling at the girl. Yo, then the question is, where did his gun go? Did the girl have it? Lummy, if it didn't give me half a fright, we was thinking the shooter come out the door and get us next. Yeah, see, why were you thinking? I mean, I guess you could have. Just took everything back in there and we found it and scampered. Okay, so you were worried he was going to come after you, yet you had time to clean up the mess. I wish I could take these two statements and, like, yell at them for this.
Hold it!
So, you didn't try it? Not in your life. Okay. They're just repeating their dialogue. Here we go. Gina was in there unconscious with the gun in her hand. To confirm, it would be correct to say that neither of you set foot inside the storeroom. That's right, God. Okay, it's still continuing.
Hold it!
Yes, whereupon you fired the shot from your own gun at Mr. Sherlock Holmes. We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker. We never had a chance. Alright, so the never had a chance, if we were supposed to present, it would probably be that's when. I don't know. Are we going to try saying that the time is different? Are we going to say that... I mean, the other thing is that he had a gun and a gun was fired. So they're trying to say that Gina stole the gun from him and shot him. But how could she have done that? He was shot in the back. How could she have... She would have had to been able to take the gun from him and then, while he was turned around, shoot him in the back. I have a feeling that he was facing Gina and they shot him in the back. But I don't know what evidence to show that on. Is the everything back where we found it and scampered straight to him in black? Mummy didn't give me half a fright, was thinking the shoot would come out of the door and get us next. The bloke that owned the place was holding a gun, so we could have just fired it instead of yelling at the girl. The bloke that owned the place was holding a gun. Alright, am I supposed to present here? Or am I supposed to just keep pressing?
Hold it!
Maybe I also just need to press that last line again. That happened another time where the last line didn't count. Give me that gun. Bang. Yeah, but there, right there. This kind of thing makes it off. If he was saying, hold it right, like, if Mr. Windibank had the gun, like they just said, and they're reenacting this scene, then it would have been Mr. Windibank who shot someone else. So, this is just not, like, I don't know how to press this or get the game to... Like, I wish I could, like I said, I wish I could take two of their own testimony lies and pit them against each other.
Hold it!
And why should I believe that? Eh, what? Because, it's true, ain't it? The place was totally empty when we went in. And that time, the victim had been forced to open the door with the accused who had the gun to his head. In other words, on the night in question, these two witnesses never even laid eyes upon the proprietor of the broker, Mr. Windibank. Correct. You got him, mister. Yeah. That's it? That's the full extent of their testimony? What's it, Runo? I think they're lying. Yeah. Feelings can be very logical. I think you should trust your instincts. Iris, thank you. Sometimes things just fine. So I guess it wants me to present evidence then, unless I'm supposed to press again on a piece of dialogue.
Hold it!
And no one else is having an exclamation point pop up. Huh. I don't know what it would want me to actually show them. Are we supposed to say that there was only one bullet in there? So how could, if Windibank had the gun? Don't know what it would want. as the evidence? Would we show that he's got a bullet in his back? How could she have shot him in the front? I don't know. I don't know unless I just haven't pressed a specific thing. I don't really want to lose my little pips, but I'll give a shot. So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windibank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct?
That's it, Gov. You got the picture?
It was Nash, yes, no question.
And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident clearly shows that Mr. Windibank was not holding a firearm in any description.
Eh, you what?
Gordon Bennett! That ain't right.
Objection!
There could be no question that the victim's revolver was used in the incident. But I would remind the court that Mr. Windibank's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hand.
Yeah, that Multula used the victim's own gun to finish him off.
Give me that gun!
Blam!
Kind of thing.
Stay exactly where you are, right there.
Eh?
Eh?
If the crime scene had taken place as you so colorfully described it in your testimony, it would give rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out.
Goodness, are you sure, counsel?
You intrigue me, my learned friend, but let's see some evidence to support your claim. I just did. Where is the proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moments? Didn't I literally just show it? Am I supposed to... Huh? Why would I need to show more evidence? What's it trying to get at? I don't have a picture of where they were lying in the room. The gun only has one shot? If they heard the shot, it would have come from Pops? Where is the proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moments? Like, is it not just the same thing again? How would he have gotten the... Oh, is it this because it shows where they're in the room? Okay, maybe it's the room layout they're looking for.
Take that!
I believe this is all the proof you need.
Objection!
Unfortunately not. I acquire proof that actually proves something you see. Okay, so it's not that. I knew it was a long shot. It would appear that you have failed to grasp even the bare bones of this case. Yeah. Perhaps your level of intellect is better suited to the theatrics of these witnesses than advocacy. Sorry? Give me that gun. Bam. That sort of thing. Want to take the stage with us, eh? You could be skulky if you like. Ah. Well then, what do they want? Do they want me to just show the same picture again? Nash, Ringo, and Sulky Kabuki Theater Troupe. No, would never take off.
I believe the counsel for defense still wishes to pursue his career in courts, Lord Van Zeeks.
You intrigue me, my learned friend, but let's see some evidence to support your claim. Where is the proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moments? Is it really just the same picture again? Or is it the autopsy report? I report Paradise Scotland Yard, death, single bullet wound from the back. There are no other signs of trauma. Is that it? What they're looking for? According to the... Yeah, okay, it is this one. According to their testimony, the witnesses claims to have heard a shout of "Give me that gun," followed by a gunshot.
Indeed, with the two events happening almost simultaneously, so we have been led to believe.
Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that at the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, in the autopsy report, it clearly states that the victim died instantly after being shot from behind. So, as I stated before, there is an undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
Yeah. But it's the God's honest truth. It is, Nash, it is. When we was shot that night, the shopkeeper had a gun in his hand, then we saw her with her own bleeding eyes.
Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Windibank holding a gun?
Something like that might have slipped out.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've all just heard the admission by these two witnesses that on the night in question, they actually saw, with their own eyes, the victim wielding a gun. Which can only mean that despite their testimony to the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person.
Nash,
Order! Order! Order!
Witnesses, explain yourselves at once.
well, the thing is, we weren't supposed to,
It would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears. And I made it quite clear that false witness would be the death of you.
Am I to understand that you replaced the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies?
they're never so sorry, Governor. Truth is, see, Cut it out, Nash, cut it out! If we blab now, you know what it'll do to us.
He? Who are they talking about?
Let me make your position here perfectly clear. You will talk. There is no other option available to you. Bruv, come on, the game's up. But it'll have our guts forgot us.
In case it hasn't quite sunk in yet, no matter how you try to hide it, the truth will come out.
On the night in question, it is now apparent that you two met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again to explain the precise circumstances under which the meeting took place.
Do we have to?
On pain of death, I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. I will actually kill you right now. If you see the defense has a sword, we will cut your hands off and then your head, in that order. I have seen him do it before.
Alright, so we just got inside the gaff and heaved a sigh of relief when the geezer showed his mug.
Give me that gun, he bellowed, and then he flew at us like he was possessed. I thought we had it.
For an old geezer, the bloke was strong as an ox. He took me over the counter.
I pulled my gun on him, and then he legged it through that door in the back room.
We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all what happened, I swear.
So you're now telling us that the moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encountered them in the main part of the shop?
Yeah, sorry.
Well, if we find ourselves at an interesting juncture, the changes matter considerably.
But honest, Governor, this time, Nash, this time we ain't got nothing more to hide.
No, they're still lying.
Very well, counsel for the defense, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. This is it. The moment I've been waiting for. They should call this cross-examination. I mean, at this point, the entire testimony of both these witnesses are incredibly unreliable. Like, there's literally nothing we can have from these two that we cannot consider to be a lie. Like, these two witnesses should be thrown completely out of the case by this point. which means there is no other evidence beside. Come on, this is if this were actual court of law, which of course we know it's not. These two people just existing in the crime scene would be way more than enough for a oh fuck, why did I lose the phrase in my head? Credible deniability. That's not the word I'm looking for. But easily, fuck, I literally lost the word. Like, there's no way, reasonable doubt. There you go. There's insane amounts of reasonable doubt that it was Gina. But, this is, this law system where you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant did not do it.
Alright, so we just got inside the gaff and we used the sigh of relief when the geezer showed his mug.
Hold it!
When you say geezer, I presume you mean the victim and proprietor of the shop, Mr. Winterbank.
Well, sorry, I mean, yeah, that's right. We was keeping a close eye on the entrance to the gaff, obviously. But we never thought no one was gonna come out the back room like that.
The back room being the pawnbrokery storeroom.
Yeah, that must have been where he popped up from. Only place he could have been.
So it would seem the victim was already in the storeroom when the brothers entered the premises.
Which means Ginny must have been in there at that point as well.
But that doesn't make sense, does it? If Gina had threatened Mr. Winterbank in the storeroom with her at gunpoint, then why would he have emerged from the same room all alone when the brothers arrived?
Oh, I don't know.
Did you see the accused at that time?
What? That mall Tula? Couldn't tell you.
No way, Cablo. We had bigger fish to fry then. I mean, the old geezer just lost it.
Give me that gun, he bellowed, and then he flew at us like he was possessed. We thought we had it.
Hold it!
You mentioned that Mr. Winterbank shouted those words in your previous testimony, too. However, you claim that you heard him yelling them on the other side of the storeroom door.
Oh, did we?
But the truth is, he was shouting those words at you, wasn't he?
Well, hey, yeah.
Was the victim, Mr. Winterbank, wielding a gun at the time?
Was he ever? Blimey, lummy, a great ugly barrel he had, pointed straight at me frontispiece.
So, what you're saying is, you definitely saw Mr. Winterbank with a gun at that time. Is that right?
It is, Gov, it is, spot on. Then all of a sudden he came at us, he did. It was bedlam. I didn't know who was going for.
You were clearly all going for each other.
Like Nash said, we thought we had it, I mean. For an old geezer, that bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter.
Hold it!
Yes, I noted you mentioned the counter on your previous testimony too.
Well, yeah, of course we did. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot. That got tangled in some marionette. What knocked over a picture frame and knocked them skills on the floor.
And so in fact, it wasn't the sound of the gunshot that shocked you and made you knock those things off the counter.
Well, Big Brother here went flying over the counter like a gunshot, I can tell you. Then the old geezer pinned him. He did, Nash, he did. If he hadn't been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a bloomin' pancake in seconds.
At the time in question, the alarm was raised at the local police station via secret cable from the pawnbrokery. There is a button under the counter used to activate it, which was presumably pressed by the victim. That's right, when the brothers fled the scene and back to the street, they ran straight into the arriving police, didn't they?
Poor Mr. Winterbank. He did everything he could to protect his shop.
I pulled my gun on him, and then he legged it through that door back into the back room.
Hold it!
Were you intending to shoot Mr. Winterbank?
No, never. I was, looking out for me bruv, weren't I? It was being flattened, don't forget.
By a man whose shop was being burgled, yes? And then, the man fled into the storeroom where you pointed your gun at him. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. He shoved me away and then ran off through that door and shut himself in.
There's something about that last remark. Something that doesn't quite ring true.
I wonder why Mr. Windibank ran away into the storeroom.
What?
Well, according to what everyone's saying, Ginny was in there waiting for him with a gun.
Ah, yeah, that's right. Gina allegedly used Mr. Windibank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how did the gun end up in Mr. Windibank's hands again?
I have no idea, but it's strange, isn't it?
This a little inconsistency could be significant. I should make a mental note of it.
Look, the point is, me and brother here, That's right, Nash, that's right. Me and brother here. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all what happened, I swear.
Hold it!
You say you had nothing to do with it.
Nothing at all. Nothing, Gov, nothing. The old geezer went and shut himself in the back room, he did.
Locked it was, from the inside.
We know it was, 'cause we tried to open it. But it was a decent door, that one. Good and strong. Wouldn't budge an inch.
So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Huh? Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker, there was only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have shot the victim, the accused, Miss Gina Lestrade. It would indeed appear so. What say you to that, counsel? I don't know. Was there anyone else apart from Gina who could possibly have shot Mr. Windibank? Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
Yeah, what? What's that look for?
From the moment you admitted that you encountered the victims face to face that night, the course of this trial changed completely.
It did.
What is your point, my learned friend? The question we must answer is, who could have shot Mr. Windibank? And it is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. You have my attention. In that case, let us return to this plan of premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So pray, what other possible answer to the question of who shot the man could there be? Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect to the two conundrums. Two, my lord? Twice as many chances to be right, maybe. Indeed, namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time? Understood, my lord.
Are you alright, Bruno?
I'm not entirely sure, but there's one thing I am sure about. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. So now, time for some clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions possessed by his lordship. If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where that person could have fired the gun. Alright, I'm assuming it's going to be right here.
Take that!
The defense believes the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here. And in answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time?
Take that!
The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom. Continue. Mr. Windibank died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death, which tells us that he was most certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is where the shooter bullet was fired. So you are adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom? Well, according to the Skulkin brothers' earlier testimony,
I pulled the gun on him and he legged it through that door in the back room.
if Mr. Windibank ran away through the door, We have to assume that the door was open at the time.
Ah,
It was precisely that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom.
Yeah. Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial?
Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. This report states that the bullet entered the body on the rising diagonal trajectory. It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself.
Poor man, shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety.
Ah, of course. He would have been leaning forward as he was running away. Really? Whatever. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would still have entered his body at an upward trajectory.
So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Windibank.
Objection!
I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was unclosed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock? But, what if someone else locked the door? Yes, there is room for someone else who could have locked the storeroom door. Is that so?
very well then, counsel. Present your hypothesis to the court. In the scenario just described, the defense's assertion that the victim was shot from the outside the storeroom. In which case, who shut and locked the storeroom door from the inside?
Take that!
Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Objection!
That's absurd. You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room. From what possible reason? Such action would only serve to the fact that someone just got shot in the fucking back by two people burgling the store. Such actions would only serve to tighten the noose around the neck.
I'm inclined to agree.
No, that's really dumb, dude.
I agree, yeah. She definitely, someone just got shot in the room that she was in. Well, why would you want to lock that door to make sure the two gunmen can't go in after you? That's insane. Why would you ever do that? I'm inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel?
What? Really? Wait, really? You're not just answering this? Okay, this is some contrived bullshit. Yes, that's a tricky one, that, isn't it?
Half big notions and no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please.
But of course Ginny would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it?
It does?
Well, if I was Ginny in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't know why we needed Iris to point this out. We should have been pointing this out. I guess the writers felt like they really needed to give this really dumb thing Van Zieks is saying. They wanted to try to give another like swing thing where they're trying to take away like, oh no, what, maybe I'm wrong, even though it's really obvious. Oh no, this was a weird one. Van Zieks should just have said that, and we should have objectioned him and say, of course she shut the door. Why would she not shut the door for some people who just killed someone? Before the two brothers arrived, Miss Lestrade and Mr. Windibank were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at that time, but at some point, Mr. Windibank must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom.
Intruders, eh? That's us, bruv.
If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom. Yes, it would. Then, probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom door, hoping to escape danger. Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Windibank fell to the floor where he was just inside the storeroom. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment? I see where you're going with this. Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Windibank. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door and shut and locked it, in order to save her own life.
Hold it!
But we ain't the ones who done it.
We ain't, Gov, we ain't. You gotta believe us. I mean, come on. We never shoot no one.
That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would. Because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes. No, they didn't. They're taking the rap for shooting Sholmes instead of the storekeeper. There's only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you brothers have every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Windibank's murder. Where does this leave us?
You mean to say it wasn't the pickpocket who shot the pawnbroker after all?
I should have known it was those three brothers. They look as shady as dense forest.
That was amazing, Runo. All the members of the jury seem to be firmly on your side now.
I know, first time ever. And probably the last.
Well, I think you've done it. Surely they'll have to give a verdict of not...
An admirable effort, my learned friend. What's this now? He's laughing. You find the situation amusing, Lord Van Zieks? I myself find the defense's argument most persuasive.
I dare say.
Such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation. But such blatant, malicious, conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pettifoggery here. What? The hypothesis you put forward so ostensively credibly cannot and will not stand. Because, you see, it contains a fatal flaw. A fatal flaw? Do you mean to tell me you're not aware of your logic's failing?
I say, Lord Van Zieks, might be an idea to explain this battery conjuring trick or whatever it is to the troops on the ground, huh?
The fatal flaw in my learned friend's argument is really very simple to understand. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets.
By George, count bullets.
Oh dear. He noticed then.
Huh? What's everyone talking about? Counsel. Yes, sir? Tell the court how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime. Two? 2 bullets. Correct. The first, that which hit the victim in the back, ending his life. The second, that struck the detective Mr. Herlock Sholmes on his arrival at the scene.
Indeed, the defense presented a picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet earlier in the proceedings. The bullet at which Mr. Sholmes appears to have passed through his body to strike the calendar.
Your lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Windibank, and the Skulkin brothers' revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun.
Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each.
Now then, my learned friend. You yourself told the court only moments ago that these 2 brothers shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes right before your eyes.
Yes, I did.
Oh my goodness, I think we'll find.
If the single bullet that fired from the brother's gun hit Mr. Sholmes, it means...
Windibank not shot by same gun. Stop. Only 1 bullet. Stop. Exactly. Yes, this Nymphonese street performance presented an ostensibly credible argument. However, it was never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny.
Yeah.
Order! 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 Just fucking kill somebody in the back. Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hallowed nectar into the public gallery. Oh, my leg! My leg!
Lord Van Zieks.
But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can regrettably no longer be described as a juvenile. No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She has passed well with criminal conduct. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery on the night of question with loathsome intent. As we can see beyond doubt in this print which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. And I have here in my possession one more piece of evidence the prosecution witnesses to present. That disc.
I'll be taking whatever it is of Mr. McGilda's down to the yard. Thank you very much.
No, don't give it to him. It's mine, that is mine.
I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to Mr. McGilda is to be taken in as evidence now.
Yes, that music box disc. McGilda's music box disc. The very day before the hateful murder of the Mr. Winterbank, the accused attempted to make off with this article, which clearly doesn't belong to her. And with none to the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force of brazen impudence.
Good gracious.
Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl would not stoop to be punished, no crime she would not commit. The court forgets the fact that it's peril.
I see. I think it would be prudent to make the music box disc in the evidence, counsel, as a grim testament to the defendant's character. Lord Van Zeeks,
Inspector Gregson? What? Yes, Inspector.
We had a meeting yesterday at the yard with the prosecution service, and I think it was agreed that the disc wouldn't be used as evidence.
What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? Because it's a music disc that is going to be used at the Crystal Tower for the World's Fair that's coming. And McGill was having one created for that. And I'm assuming the Brick Mason was also being used for making that shit too. That's the first time I've said anything to Mr. Van Zeeks at all. I am unaware of any such meeting.
But those were the instructions, right from...
Well, that's the judge's voice.
But those were the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent.
Inspector, I am the prosecutor, and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you. The prosecution witnesses to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord.
Indeed, bailiff.
Music box disc has been entered into the court record. The prosecution has established the accused's motive, opportunity, and baseness of character. There is nothing more to add. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and rest my case. I don't believe it. I had the jury on my side for once, and all of 5 minutes.
Oh dear, it wasn't even for 5 minutes, Runo.
My lord, I wonder if I might say something at this point.
Proceed, Mr. Foreman.
Been stumbling about a bit in the fog up to now, if truth be told. But all of a sudden, the answer's bloody obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for it.
Oh no.
Very well, the court will hear from the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you will present your learnings as the defendant's culpability.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Summation examination number 2.
We have a consensus among the jury, it seems.
When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. How dare he use it against us?
Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more in this case than we realize. There must be, because there's one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windibank. That's beyond any doubt.
Very well. We will proceed with the second summation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, you and the other jurors ready? Herodeb squadron is primed and ready for action, sir. Very good. Oh, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Will you each explain what grounds you have now determined the defendant to be guilty?
The jurors' contentions.
Hunt's a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breed to us law-abiding citizens.
As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted.
You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was the pickpocket. I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief.
The accused attempt at theft at the previous day. I can see I'm in for a busy day ahead. I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns. Because I am top assassin, I have killed many people.
It would seem that there's a little remaining room for doubt. I have to admit, I was rather bowled over by the argument put forward by the chap in black. But when that fell apart like a house of cards, I saw that I'd jolly well been hoodwinked. Well, no more.
Ugh, the whole courtroom is turning against me.
It's not fair.
Iris?
That prosecutor's being mean. That's just because Ginny's gone and done something she shouldn't have done in the past. That doesn't make her a murderer.
Allow me to savor this fruity vintage while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Here's to the truth coming out, eventually.
That's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summation examination.
Yes, my lord. The defense's rebuttal.
Hunt's a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breed to us law-abiding citizens.
Hold it!
Just because Miss Lestrade has a history of pickpocketing, she must be guilty of murder? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, well.
Are all members of the British Army so quick to judge?
I beg your pardon. Are you mocking Her Majesty's Armed Forces? The greatest military organization in the world?
No, I'm simply illustrating my point. Making assumptions about people because they're a soldier or a pickpocket is wrong and dangerous.
Well, yes. Might have a point there, I suppose. But let's not forget the girl has already shown she had it in her from the before. She's clearly a criminal to sort through and through. Can't deny it.
When you say that she'd shown she had it in her, are you referring to this?
Exactly. Tried to swipe that only the day earlier, Or am I mistaken?
Speaking of which, can we hit this with her powder?
Oh, Bruno, look. This is blood.
Yes, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before.
Then it's my time to shine again. I thought I'd be waiting forever. Alright, hold still with that disc, Bruno.
Can we get this done quickly, Iris?
In a flash. Oh, a lovely bright shade again.
Wait, that color.
What is it?
It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, is it? It's the same on the calendar. The blood samples portfolio has been updated in the court record. So, if we're going to assume that the blood on the calendar is Mr. Herlock Sholmes' blood, that means this blood is also Mr. Herlock Sholmes, but that's not it. The assumable blood who this is this guy's blood. So does that mean that Egbert Benedict was shot and what got all over the calendar? Or is Egbert Benedict somehow the guy who was also in the exact same room? So it really couldn't have been, because they were in the same room and we were doing the deduction. So it can't have been him. So they're clearly different people.
Exactly. Heard us swiped that only a day earlier, Or am I mistaken?
Not exactly. Given that I was actually there at the time, it's hard to refute that.
I've never actually seen that real thing. I can't wait to have a closer look at it.
Oh yes, of course. Mr. Sholmes did use his caramel bars to make a copy of the disc, didn't he? Then he ordered every type of music box he could find across Europe.
We still don't know what tune it plays though, do we? But I'd love to see how the original compares to Hurley's copy.
McGilded's disc. Could it be a clue somehow? Perhaps we should examine it in more detail. As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted.
Hold it!
Is the number of bullets that you have convinced? Is it the number of bullets that has you convinced? Are we going to say that there was a 3rd bullet somewhere else? Okay. Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asked me how many were we invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings. Well, that's logical, I suppose. Although, yes. Sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china. Does your employer dine with thieves? So I suppose, if there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position. A 3rd bullet somewhere in the scene. Could that be possible? Can I prove it? We'd have... Oh, yeah. The 3rd bullet would be still in Herlock Sholmes, that they had to operate and get the bullet out of him. We'd have to be able to show that the operation in Mr. Sholmes, there wasn't a bullet in him. Or that there was a bullet in him. Allow me to show you then. The 3rd bullet. I guess I don't have that. I guess I don't have it yet, do I? And I need to go through this and be able to find the next bullet. I have to talk to the surgeon. I did this too early. I did this too early. Oh no. I'm a lawyer.
Take that!
I don't suppose this would pass as the 3rd bullet. It passes for a bullet as much as you pass for a lawyer, my learned friend. Coming from you, I'm going to take that as a meaning not much. In no way does it resemble a bullet, if that helps your understanding of my last remark. Counsel, at its very last would expect the evidence you present to be of the correct form. It's been a long day.
Let's actually try to find this 3rd bullet before we attempt that again, Runo.
Yeah, we have to talk to the surgeon.
You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. With every way you look at it, it was that pickpocket.
Hold it!
So if I understood correctly, you need 2 pictures, a left eye one and a slightly different right. Wow, we're going over this again?
Exactly. Then you could see the scene in 3 dimensions. Like this.
So, if we have 2 bullets, I don't suppose you can see anything useful with them.
Well, I think you'll find that no matter how you squint, the truth of the situation always looks the same here. The only person who could have shot the victim is that girl in the dock.
How can you be so sure of that?
Think about it. The Skulkin brothers shot the great detective, didn't they?
Yes, that's been mentioned once or twice.
Well then, surely it's coming into focus now, isn't it?
This was a waste of time. I'm not going to change this man's mind anytime soon.
I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief.
Hold it!
Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with the trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here.
Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say it was nothing to do with this trial, to be honest.
Huh?
I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think?
Huh? I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering to yourself this entire time, you were operating on...
What was the fellow's name now? Hurlick? No, Herlock. No, Hairlock?
Herlock Sholmes, by any chance?
Yes, good lord. It was that Hairlock fellow.
What? You're the surgeon operated on Mr. Sholmes?
That's right, using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major op, I can tell you.
This is crazy.
Let me see. The fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They said he'd been shot by some criminal or other, so I opened him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with the...
Oh my god, he took his own bullet. He pickpocketed his own bullet out of himself. Fuck off, game.
With a fine-tooth comb, I couldn't find a bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw up my hands, which just stitched the fellow back up.
I hate to state the obvious, but...
Yes?
Surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting. This is when we're going to find out there was no exit wound.
Accounts of defense is correct. As it clearly shown in the photographic print, the bullet that the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region.
If it hit him in the stomach, why was it so high up? The calendar is very high up, nowhere near the stomach. I think you'll find it's quite really simple if you just consider the problem three-dimensionally.
Ah, who do you think I am, son?
Well, juror number 4 is about the best I can do.
As soon as I saw the wound in the man's stomach, I flipped him over.
Like a pancake? Are you saying that you checked his back?
Of course I did. There wasn't a trace of injury. No sign of the bullet had left the body at all.
What?
That's the point. The only logical conclusion was that the bullet is still somewhere in the man's innards.
And just like he couldn't find the scalpel because Mr. Sholmes took the fucking scalpel and took his own bullet out. He was under so much anesthesia but wasn't going unconscious, and that's how he was able to do surgery on himself. Ah, fuck off. I like it, but fuck off. What a Chad.
Which is exactly why I said about slicing him up. And I'm still none the wiser, even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can somebody please explain how it happened? Can somebody please solve the mystery?
It's almost as much of a mystery of how this jury was put together.
The mystery of where that bullet ended up is infuriating. It's an expert where you need one. Where's an expert when you need one?
Hold it!
Mr. Sholmes' surgeon is on the jury. I've experienced some coincidences recently, but this is ridiculous.
I'm as surprised as anyone.
But there's no question that Mr. Sholmes was shot. Okay, I kind of hate and like the jury at the same time. Basically, the jury is a way for them to put on extra witnesses without actually having to call a witness.
Well, that's what the police told me when they brought him in.
How bad were these injuries, Doctor?
He was in a bad way. He lost a huge amount of blood, you know. As I suspect, he was shot at quite close range, too. Because his skin was badly burnt around the point of entry. Burnt? As I said, I flipped the fellow over and examined his back, but there's no sign of an exit wound. Which is why I thought I'd better locate the lung and pop it out. And yet you say you found no bullet inside the patient. Well, I wouldn't have done, would I? Because it was in the wall with the pawnbrokers. But how'd it get there? I need someone to solve this mystery before it drives me to insanity. If only there was some expert in ballistics who could help, even if he looked extremely untrustworthy. We're getting to him in a minute. So, we have a disappearing bullet on our hands. The accused attempted a theft the previous day. I can see I'm in for a busy day ahead.
Hold it!
What do you mean, you're in for a busy day? Forgot to say, stop. Do excuse me, stop. I am a communications officer, stop. A communications officer? Does that have something to do with this sending telegrams? Everything from personal messages written by members of the public to the latest news to the capital. I convert all the messages into Morse code and tap out to the entire world electronically. To the entire world? Thousands of miles of cable under the sea, stop. Worldwide communications network, stop. Information transmitted to all of corners of the globe, stop. Yes. She was getting equally worked up about the radio waves, or like before, wasn't she? I specialize in communication informing of government departures and newspaper offices. I see. I'm sure I have to wire the newspaper reports of today's guilty verdict later. So no sleep for me tonight, I imagine. Let's just finish the trial first, shall we? I am ballistics expert. I may seem very shady, but I have seen many shootings. And if there were some kind of surgeon in the thing asking a question, I would be able to answer their questions for them. There is nothing I don't know about guns, or explaining things to surgeon, or even looking shady. I know lots of things about looking shady.
Hold it!
I thought you were just a tourist. Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to capital to Crystal Tower, please. There's no way he's just visiting tourist. So, you're a ballistics expert. Who knew? I have much experience with guns. Ah. I have lived through many, how do you say, the extreme, violent bath of, blood of, extremely violent bloodbaths, perhaps. Those extremely violent bloodbaths. English is very different tongue. Considering the sort of people you associate with, I'm surprised you still have a tongue. Anyway, if you have questions about bullets and guns, you ask me. There is nothing I do not know. No mystery I cannot solve. He's very confident in his knowledge of guns. That's for sure. So, it's weird that, like I said, like this normally would be, instead of the jury, we would have to have literally called Herlock Sholmes we would have to have gotten his surgery report or called the surgeon to the stand. We would have had to have called a ballistics expert to the stand, which would have been able to tell us different angles for different shots. So this is a way of us calling in experts to these things. Like I said, this is just a way of us getting extra witnesses without having to go through all the long, drawn-out bullshit of having to actually call the witness, have Von Zeke say, why should we ever have this witness, trying to show things to prove the witness. So I do like how they are taking a lot of more modern court proceedings that they would normally have to have and just kind of placing them here. Now, of course, they have to do it by contriving that all these people just so happen to fucking be here. And it's the same cast of characters constantly showing up, but it is a nice way of them doing this. And, you know, also consolidating characters. He's very confident in his knowledge of guns, that's for sure. But, if possible, please, only in Russian language.
He's not very confident in his knowledge of English, though, is he?
No. Still, we should bear it in mind. He's our man if there's a mystery about guns or bullets. Then Zeeks has managed to convince everyone.
When you have eliminated the impossible, he said. But he hasn't.
If we're going to fight back, we need more material. And we have to fight back. We have to turn this trial around again.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly contradict the idea that all I do is pit jurors against each other. Oh, a ballistics expert. Pitting. On the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers. But since there was no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6. Hello, my name is Villain. Pleased to meet you. I am Villain. Alright. This apparent contradiction of facts that is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery? I have seen very similar situation in Motherland. Huh? It was night. There was blizzard. I was running away along mountain road and freezing cold. Golly! The snow was piling high on both sides of the road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles and they were on dog sleds. Mental note, don't ask too many questions. I was shot from behind and fell down in snow. And the situation was very similar to what I heard today from doctor. They could not find bullet in my body, and no sign of, how you say, exit wound. Then, where did the bullet go? Bullet never hit me. Well, if it never hit you, why'd you fall down? Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very close to my side. What? One small... Oh... Mr. Sholmes wasn't hit by the bullet. He was hit by a shard of glass from the shattering lantern. And that's why he was burnt. It's not from a gun muzzle. It's from the fire flashed up from the lantern. One small piece, very sharp, broke away from a lump of ice and pierced my body. It made a deep wound that looks just like bullet wound. Good gracious! Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside. Literally. What I'm telling you is, the bullet that I shot JFK with, it was made of ice. Who the fuck knew? It is magic bullet. And that is solution to mystery of disappearing bullet. But that doesn't answer the question at all. Huh. A shooting happened at a pawnbroker shop. Not some snowy mountain road in another country. Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here.
Bruno, where exactly was Hurley shot again?
Well, according to the report, in his stomach. Sort of around this area, I think.
Well, that's precisely where he always wears a little pouch on his belt.
A pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that.
Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps the glass vials of very dangerous chemicals that he uses in his investigations.
What? Really? Doctor, where is the pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing? Well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital as far as I remember. If I may. Lord Van Zeeks? While I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during the summation examination, I should inform the defense that I had the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom. Sorry? As I understand it, when the police arrived at the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound. Ah, thank goodness. I thought I was getting forgetful for a moment. Since then, it has been in my safekeeping for with all of the evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that Dole has not been in touch since the incident occurred.
Very well. While extremely unconventional during a summation examination, I must demand the prosecution presents the item in question with all speed. Bring forth the Mr. Herlock Shisham's pouch. I see. So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes, and out of the question, is it?
Look at that. One of the files is broken and the leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if a file exploded.
Exploded?
So, that night, the bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch. And it was the glass file exploding that caused the fellow's injury. This bullet did not penetrate victim, but was deflected into wall of shop. But then where did the blood come from? So, it's not what happened. A delightfully complex aroma.
Well, it would appear one mystery has been solved at least.
Though it has no bearing on the truth of this case.
Huh?
The burgling brother shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered. Ugh. But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man. Thank you very much. Glad I could help.
Due to its bearing on the conundrum just solved, the court will sequester the scruffy pouch as evidence.
Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy. Sholmes' pouch has been entered into the court record.
Now, the summation examination.
I mean, once again, there's still blood spattered all over the wall. So, how did that blood get there? It went into the... There it is. What? I can't find anything at... Game? What do you mean? What do you mean you can't find anything out of place? It's really scorched bad just here. Oh, the strap is broken, look. That must be where the bullet hit then. Let me see. There it is. What the? Iris, look! Behind where the broken file was, do you see it? Ah, that's the Skulkin brothers' bullet. What a stroke of luck that it hit his pouch. This is an amazing discovery. What this means is that there were 3 bullets fired at Windibanks that night. We found exactly what the juror was talking about. The 3rd bullet. It's time to press that juror again, I think. The 3rd bullet has been entered into the court record. Who wanted to see that bullet? This is the bullet that was fired from the Skulkin brothers' gun on the night of the incident. Yes, so it turns out it never actually entered Hurley's body at all. Thanks to the thick leather of the pouch he was wearing, it saved him. Hee, Hurley's always lucky like that. Well, considering what we had to go through in the hospital, I wonder how lucky he really was. Oh dear, poor Hurley.
Now, summation examination. It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion, huh?
Please, my lord. A little more time. After all, there is some new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue, and you can't afford to overlook anything here, Ryunosuke. There's still a way to turn this around, somehow. I'm sure of it. Was it her that wanted it?
Hold it!
Is the number of bullets that has you convinced? Only 2 bullets would have been fired. Only 2 bullets were fired. A piece of the gun. Show me the next one. Allow me to show you then the 3rd bullet.
Take that!
Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes, on the night in question in Windibank's pawnbrokery,
Another bullet was fired.
What is this new trickery, you Nymphonese conjurer? Where did you find that bullet?
It was lodged inside Mr. Sholmes' pouch.
What?
This pouch was removed from around Mr. Sholmes' waist before he was taken to the hospital, and since then it has been touched by no one.
Do you mean to say that shot fired by the Skulkin brothers that night?
Yes, as your lordship has surmised, it hit his pouch.
But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Sholmes. It's clearly visible in the photographic print.
2 guns from the scene have already been submitted into the court record as evidence.
Yes, that of Mr. Winterbank and that belonging to the Skulkin brothers.
And examining both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each.
What that must mean?
That's right. We know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene. And until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment.
Order! 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 While the summation examination remains incomplete, the court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built. In my prerogative of the situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination. My Jupiter! What? Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once.
Oh great, 3rd time's the charm. Oops, didn't mean to do that one.
Witnesses!
Governor,
Were you listening to proceedings while the defense carried out the summation examination?
we was, Governor, we was.
Perhaps we can dispense with a tedious preamble. Simply answer this one question. A 3rd bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that?
Make of a gov. I don't make nothing of it.
Is this one of yours?
Gor blimey, Gov. Gor blimey. Not a chance.
In that case, did you have an accomplice?
What? Never. The Skulkin brothers work alone.
It's just the 2 of us. That's our trademark.
How soon forget poor Sulky? Only 2 of bullets from the crime scene originated in the firearms we have in evidence. The 3rd bullet was fired from another gun. Where is it?
Lummy, that's Ed Scratcher.
Oh. Counsel for the defense?
Yes?
I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these newer developments. The 3rd bullet, and the mysterious missing firearm from where it came.
Thinking back over the testimony we've heard, and all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to get a form of picture. A picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear that the 3rd bullet tells us about the Skulkin brothers. They had another gun? Each brother had a gun? Is what we're trying to say? They had a secret accomplice? I could only see they had a secret accomplice moving the game forward. But they had another gun could easily be an answer. Each brother had their own gun, not just one of them. But I don't know. I don't see how they could shoot down they had another gun, but it just might not get us to the right results. Because we would be jumping to there's another person there. But we should be able to tell that from the blood spatters, I guess. Because the blood where that one bullet hit could not have been... Like, it feels like it should be they had a secret accomplice. But I don't know how we would prove that. They had another gun seems easier to prove. We'll just go with this to begin with and see if the game yells at me. On that night, the Windibanks pawnbrokery, the brothers must have been in possession of another gun. We know that only one bullet was fired from each of the two firearms already in the court record. The logical conclusion, therefore, is that the brothers were working with an accomplice. Oh, okay. So, it was either both, it was one of those two. Okay, so they used, there's another gun, and they used it to tie in an accomplice. I don't know why they just didn't leave me with things like they had an accomplice and the brothers didn't have anything to do with it, and just leave it like a 2 choice. If 2 of 3 of the choices were going to be correct. It doesn't matter. Is that the brothers were working with an accomplice who's carrying a gun. An accomplice, you say? Big swill. Huh? These protracted proceedings have already forced us to endure 2 simulation examinations. Yet in all that time, there has not been the murder of a third man. If this apparently wraith-like be... In every single case, there's always a secret person. Don't you know this by this point, man? Literally every case is a secret person. Like, come on. The court must be shown no evidence. Without it, the fantasy will be crushed. The prosecution demands answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof, evidence that this accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime. And secondly, the identity of the superfluous character. The Skulkins are lying, I know that. But, how can I ascertain the identity of the person? I mean, easy. Well, counsel, I know what they're looking for. I'm supposed to prove the existence of this accomplice, and reveal the person's identity even. In response to the prosecution's demands, my lord, the defense is... ready to present answers. The defense is ready. I believe I can provide all the answers the prosecution demands. So, my Nipponese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promises to be interesting. I have to push forward now. There's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me to make the difference. In that case, counsel, I would ask you to present the evidence without delay. On the night in question, in the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof have you that there was a third intruder present at the scene?
Take that!
Evidence is right here, in this portfolio. By Jove, that portfolio again, is it? Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific. Huh? You claim one of the blood samples proves the presence of a third intruder. Well, which one is it?
Take that!
What am I looking at here? There appears to be some green paint or such like around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar. That's a bloodstain, my lord. A bloodstain? Green blood. Curious, even for you. Even I would not drink your green blood. Is the court to understand that the intruder was some sort of inhuman creature? It's something developed by Mr. Herlock Sholmes. By the greatest detective? New invention. Stop. Not yet appears in stories. Stop.
It's this, you see. It doesn't have a name yet, though. This fogger spray is a chemical that reacts with the different elements in people's blood to change its color.
Different elements of people's blood.
Yes, everyone's blood is slightly different, you see, because it's made up of different elements. So by seeing what color it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is.
Oh, that brings a whole different dimension to looking at blood. Talk of blood in courtroom, stop. Very exciting, stop. As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Windibank.
Ah, a striking blue.
Yes, so you see, the green color of this bloodstain on the calendar shows that somebody else was shot in the main part of the shop.
Now hold that fire there, young man. Could be from an unrelated incident, couldn't it?
No, it's not unrelated. The date showing on the calendar is the date in which Mr. Windibank was killed.
By golly.
Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot at the same day.
But whose blood is it?
Well, the Skulkin brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any gunshot injuries. Which means it must be the blood of somebody else. The third intruder, in fact.
Objection!
Whose identity the court is still awaiting to hear. You can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Who is the alleged third intruder?
Take that!
The man's name is Egbert Benedict.
Egbert Benedict? Who on earth are you talking about, Counsel?
He paid a visit to Windibank's pawnbrokery on the afternoon before the incident took place. When the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing this article into her possession. That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Egbert Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force.
Baroka?
Yes, sir.
I believe this filthy pickpocket theft has the redemption article from you, no?
Yes,
The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once.
Damn it. Curse you, Speedwagon. How could you do this to us? No, that's a lie. What, you trying to pull?
Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. And needless to say.
Yeah, he's even doing the fucking posing. He's the third brother. Any music box discs too. Inspector Gregson was there at the time and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc.
Can you corroborate this account, Inspector? Yes, my lord. That's more or less what happened. And in the interest of being thorough, I asked Windibank for a print showing the fellow. Taken from one of his red-handed recorder gubbuses?
Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Windibank that morning.
And you claim that this man is a brother's accomplice?
Well, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. We never seen the geezer before in me life. On me life, Gov, on me life. Never seen him.
Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion.
I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Nepalese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice. Yes, and I can.
And show it.
Let's show us the evidence. I agree. We must see proof that clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is a filthy criminal that he say he is. This is the last piece of evidence. I've had a feeling that something has been missing in this trial from the very start. But now, I'm going to drag it kicking and screaming into the courtroom.
Are you ready to present your answer to the court, then, counsel?
Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. The proof that the man pictured in his photographic print was in fact the person struck by the third bullet.
Take that!
As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defendant attempted, deceitfully, admittedly, to reclaim this disc from Windibanks.
Which is when the aforementioned Egbert Benedict appeared at the scene, I believe. This man has then attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's possession, no?
That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time. It was following this that a minor incident occurred.
But of course, sir, here's the disc for you.
Very well.
Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style.
Wait a minute. That disc is mine.
What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal.
Being a music box disc. God, it's so hard to say those two words in a row. It has countless but small sharp metal protrusions over its surface. Those protrusions cause Mr. Benedict's finger to bleed. And the resulting smear of blood is still visible on the disc now.
Oh goodness, a bloodstain is it?
My assistant and I have analyzed the bloodstain here in its very courtroom.
Using my trusty fogger gun.
Yes. And we added the results of this portfolio. Although, to believe all this, you have to believe that this device does what you say it is, and it's not just bullshit that we're making up to get our defendant off. So, the fact that, they're not bringing this up, while, of course, has to happen, otherwise we wouldn't get anywhere here, but that could be easily something that he could say. It's like, this is bullshit. They come in with fake things. This is just another parlor trick. They come in saying magic dust tells us whose blood is what. But who knows what they could be doing with it?
I say,
it's green.
It's exactly the same color as the blood around the calendar.
The evidence is conclusive. The man calling himself Mr. Egbert Benedict, who was in Windibanks earlier that day, is the accomplice who was present at the scene of the crime that same night.
So there was someone else. Look at those two brothers now. They're sweating buckets.
boy, what are you talking about? It's boiling in here.
My lord, it's the opinion of the defense that Mr. Egbert Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify.
It would certainly seem that we can ill afford to ignore this gentleman's apparent presence.
Objection!
This has gone on long enough now. The flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law. Huh? Sherlock Sholmes, you say? Yes, I've heard the name. The protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes. A god of detection of some such.
Huh?
And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fantastical persona in the highest court of the land. Do you expect us to take you seriously? The samples made by the playthings are not fit to be... Yeah, there we go. Are not fit to be called evidence. So the blood stains turn the shade of green. What of it? Oh good, they actually are doing this. Cool. Here's to you successfully proving that no other blood in the world could turn the same color. Well... Then pray, do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Sholmes' word for it. Is he right? Is Mr. Sholmes' concoction a load of rubbish?
I don't know. I mean, he is a great detective.
What are you on about? We can't let him get away with this.
Oh shit. Holy fuck. An actual donation or tip? Fuck. Thank you very much. I think that's the first donation I've ever got before. Thank you very much. God, now I have to fucking read names. Oh god. I have hot cocoa. Actually, that's a solid name. But yeah, I that's one reason why I like doing VNs and stuff like this. I like doing voices for the stuff. It keeps me entertained. So it makes the streams even fun for myself while I do it. I knew it would come to this. Of course, Mr. Sholmes' invention isn't going to be recognized by any official body. But what other choice did I have?
I'm just remembering what Father Christmas over there said before. How about he was temporarily suspending the summation examination? In other words, the examination isn't over yet, is it?
Good grief. What did you just say, young girl?
And in summation examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it? So the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Hurley's invention. At least, not for now.
Yes, she's right. Young lady, you have quite the devious mind.
It really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Runo. Is that about right, would you say? Or did I misunderstand something?
Unbelievable. Mr. Sholmes' partner is a force to be reckoned with.
Iris Wilson, sharpshooter.
After the shrewd, precise of the situation from an entirely unexpected source, it must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination is yet to reach a conclusion.
This is absurd.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for your final earnings to this matter. As proud citizens of Her Majesty Britain, I'm sure you will come to a fair and just conclusions. So then, state your final decisions in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Well, fuck you, Doc.
Not guilty.
I get the one communications lady because she's always been, I will buy all the facts and bullshit like that. But you, Doc, at 2? Oh, fuck, I didn't read that one.
2 called guilty and 4 not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
Objection.
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept the decision.
On what grounds?
If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked conduction devised by a pretender to real police work, they then are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt. All right, he said it. Von Ziek said it. Mistrial. Just mistrial the whole fucking thing. All right, yeah. It's over.
I'm sorry, Lord Von Zieks, but the outcome of the summation examination cannot be ignored. The trial will continue.
Gah. Ah.
Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense has very reasonably required a subpoena of the new witness.
Did not expect that word to show up in this fucking game. What is this, an actual lawyer game now?
But sadly, I fear that would be impossible.
Because his name is bullshit.
There's no such person by that name. I know. I have encyclopedia knowledge of every person in Great Britain. I have gone through constantly the witnesses, and I keep picking the same ones because it's fun. What? The name of the gentleman I gave for himself, Edward Benedict, is quite clearly false.
I don't believe it. Just when I managed to prove the man prove the man was there that night. Could I say something?
Who is that, please? Who spoke?
It was me, my lord.
Juror number 5. What have you to say, madam?
If possible, Inspector.
It may, ma'am.
I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again. The one in which the gentleman is shown.
Oh, well, yes. It's one you mean of Mr. Benedict?
Yes. There's no doubt in my mind.
Juror number 5?
You don't mean to say you know this man? Yes, I know him.
What? No. Oh, good gracious! Juror number 5? How on earth?
I am a communications officer. Stop. As we can clearly see, the gentleman in the photograph is. Stop. Also a communications officer. Stop. He works at my office. Stop. A very talented operator, in fact. Stop. He should be in the communication station now. Stop. Tapping away on the telegraph. Stop. This doesn't seem right somehow. I can't put my finger on it, but it doesn't feel right. I suppose we all imagine the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. Is it a bit unexpected to find out that he has a respectable job by day, whatever he gets up to at night? Yeah, I suppose it is. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong.
If the gentleman at London's communication station, we should be able to subpoena him within the hour. Lord Van Zieks, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Make the necessary arrangements with all haste.
As your lordship bids.
The court will recess for 1 hour. When the new witness arrives, we shall convene to hear the gentleman's testimony. Inspector Gregson. Yes, my lord. I should like to hear from you specifically about events at the pawnbrokery at the day in question. Come to my chambers during a recess. Yes, sir, my lord. Very well. Court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m.
To be continued. Right now, actually.
The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Ah, Gina, how are you holding up? I'm starting to feel quite warmly towards her frequent cold shoulders now.
Ginny! Are you alright? Why aren't you saying anything? What's the point, eh? Why go through all this trouble to fight so hard? For the likes of me? What? Well, you saw it. That picture.
What picture?
Ah, you mean this. The photograph taken by Hurley's red-handed recorder. Well, I didn't think it would have captured a scene like this, that's for sure. It's hopeless. Anyone who sees that is going to think I did it, ain't they?
Well, I won't pretend it wasn't a bit of a shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court.
Surely you gotta have your doubts about me now. You can't think I'm still an innocent.
Of course I can.
Humph. Ginny, why don't you talk to us? Tell us what really happened that night. Eh? Runo's cleverly managed to piece together a lot of new information, but still, we'd really like to hear it from you.
Because if we heard from her right away, it would we would have skipped all of this other bullshit we just did.
Alright then. It was after we had a dinner together at your place, right, Iris? Then we all had a chat up in your office, didn't we?
Yes, I remember.
After that, I just couldn't get to sleep. So I slipped out and went down to the street to the 2-in-1 to Windibank's place. I had to know. If
Iris's story was there or not, the Hound of the Baskervilles.
I don't know about or nothing. But if you ask me, there's something in that Sholmes don't like. Something what you don't want people reading. So that's why you lied to Iris about sticking it in the log with Windibank for safekeeping. At least, that's what I thought at the time.
So, you broke into Windibank's.
Just as I had to know if it was there or not. I mean, I had no idea all that was going to kick off, did I? I struck the lock and stuck inside. It was dark as you like in there. So I gave the oil lamp on the counter a bit of wick, and that's when... What do you think you're doing? I nearly died, I did. And next thing I knew... I grabbed the gun off the counter and he was waving it in the air like... I don't know what. Oh, well, the girl was in here this afternoon. I didn't think the pickpockets witness for armed robbery.
No, wait, that's the wrong voice for him. Uh-oh.
It was this. No, it was a bit like this.
No. Fuck, I gotta get that one back.
The manuscript, have you got it here? Did Sholmes leave a load of papers with you? A story? I beg your pardon? The Hound of something or other. If it's here, I want to see it. I'm sorry, young lady, but I'd sooner die than relinquish that article belonging to one of my customers. I don't want it. What would I do with it anyway? I just want to see that it's here, that's all. No, you want to see it, do you? I want to know if Sholmes really pawned it here or not. Please, just let me see it and I'll go. No, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving my gun around, would you? So then the old cove unlocked the storeroom door and we both went inside. And it was there alright, the manuscript. Sholmes weren't lying after all. You did that all to check for me, Ginny? Anyway, then there was a bit of a kick-up out in the main bit of the show.
The Skulkin brothers arriving at the scene. Yes.
What was that noise? Someone's breaking in.
Dear me, is there some burglars convention here tonight that I don't know about?
I think I forgot to shut the door behind me. Sorry.
I better go and take care of it. Could I possibly have my gun back?
Oh well, I'll come with you and...
Now don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstances.
And with that, he took the gun out of my hands and walked back out the shop. I hung back in the storeroom, like he said, staying in my ears in the dark to see what was going on. It sounded like they got into a bit of a scrap. I started to think I should help it, see. So I was just about to go out of the storeroom myself, when...
2 shots came out.
I heard a couple of shots go off.
Alright, so one was shooting him and the other was him shooting back. Okay. He struck the new guy and they got him in the back. And the other brothers got him in the back.
I heard a couple of shots go off, too, I think, almost at the same time. And then there was, right at my feet, laying face down on the floor. I was right next to the storeroom door, so I slammed it shut and locked it as quick as you like.
Because you thought whoever had shot Mr. Windibank might come for you?
Yeah, so I went to grab the old cove's gun. I figured I'd put up a fight at least. But when I got a better look at him, I knew. Windibank was a gunner. I felt funny in my head all of a sudden, kinda dizzy. And after that, I don't remember nothing.
Yeah. Okay, that is actually one thing that I can relate with. It's something that I can't, like, it's something that I can't stop, but it just happens. Like, if I see, like, IRL, a lot of actual blood, it does make me feel incredibly woozy really quickly. Even, like, just a deep enough cut on my own hand. Or, like, I was even watching, we went to a museum once. This was, like, years and years ago. Where I was, we were watching, like, images of an open heart surgery. And I just, like, almost fainted just watching it, which is weird because a couple years after that I watched the video of an open heart surgery in a museum, I think it was like American, like I think it might have been like the Museum of Natural Science or something, or history, or not natural history, it may have been a natural history, or maybe the Liberty Science Center, might have been Liberty Science Center, but I know I saw it there, but I felt like super woozy and I had to go like eat something to feel better. But I also ended up this was years after that, but in college, I ended up watching my uncle do an autopsy, and I didn't feel lightheaded from watching that. So it's something about the raw blood itself, because, you know, the body was dead. There was no flowing blood. So it's something about blood that also gets me super woozy. So I can definitely relate to that. To get to the point where you might even want to pass out. That must have been when you passed out, Gina.
If I had done what I'd done, the old cove might still be alive.
Did you tell the police everything you just told us?
Of course I did, but they didn't believe a word of it, did they? They all said that if I kept telling lies, it'll make things even worse for me. It'll be alright, Ginny. Don't worry. Just stay strong a little longer. Bruno's about to put the real culprit through the mill. That cove was there in the afternoon. That Egbert Benedict. I still remember how he looked at me, like I was nothing. He was there that night.
We don't know his real name yet, but I'm convinced that I think we know his real name, but I'm convinced he was involved somehow. I think his name is Sulkin. Anyway, thanks for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty.
You what? You can leave it all in Runa's capable hands now, Ginny. Mr. Naruto.
Yes?
How come you trust me? I don't get it. I mean, have you forgotten what happened here before? Come on, it was only 2 months ago. Me and McGilded, we told you a whole pack of lies. Ain't you got a bug sorted off with him, even though I was a killer, even though he was a killer?
No, I can never forget that.
Oh,
I did what I thought was best at the time, but the pain of that error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also made you a promise. I told you that I'd be on your side until the bitter end, no matter what.
but what if I'm lying? You could be working to get another killer off the oak for all you know.
I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in a trial.
You were?
Before I left Japan, I was accused of murder. And strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty damning. I also, like you, picked up a gun. I was sure that no one would believe me, that I wasn't me who'd done it.
Oh, Runo.
But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me, and was prepared to defend me. My best friend. Ryunosuke. No one believes in you more than I do. Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me, and I'll do the rest. I was so happy, I cried. But even then, somewhere inside of me, I couldn't help thinking. Surely he doesn't really believe in me. Not completely. But I was wrong. As soon as my trial began, it was obvious that he had an absolute, unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute, unwavering belief in him. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in the other person first.
What are you saying?
I promise you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. So you don't need to worry. I won't let you down.
Even though I'm a diver and a no good liar.
You're not like McGilded. I know that.
Eh? That's right, you're our friend, Ginny. Iris?
We know you better than you think. And we've come to the conclusion that you're someone we can trust.
Yes,
That's really all we need to know.
exactly. Mr. Naruto, I...
Defendant Gina Lestrade and her legal representative. Court proceedings are about to resume. Please head to the courtroom immediately.
Yes, of course. Thank you. I have been both a defendant and a defending lawyer in my time, so I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. And I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another putting all their faith in you. This is it at last, the final chapter, the final battle. Wish me luck, Sasato-san, and I hope you're watching over me too. Partner. I mean, you're still wearing his soul on your hip. Of course he's here. However, before we continue, I need a drink, because I am very thirsty. Be right back.
Okay.
I hereby call the court to order as we resume the trial of Miss Gina Lestrade. Lord Van Zeeks, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness?
The subpoena was delivered to the communication station where the man works immediately, my lord. However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, it would seem.
Yeah, we heard that before. However, it was going to be clearing up in the afternoon, was the good news that we heard.
I see. Then let us turn our attention to Inspector Grigson's pieces of the case heard by the court this morning. The glaring omission of the third bullet in your report is a serious blunder, Inspector.
Yes, I can only apologize, my lord.
And although the defense's chemical analysis of the blood at the scene makes for a compelling argument, I cannot permit such untried methods to be used as evidence of a court.
I'm actually glad that they're actually mentioning this. Like, I thought they were just going to hand wave it as like, oh, it's a mechanic in the world, therefore we're going to ignore it. But no, they actually are going for it. Fuck yeah. That's good. I like that.
Humph, it's a big mistake to cross Hurley and me. A very big mistake.
My lord, a subpoenaed witness has just arrived in the building. Thank you, officer. Show him to the stand without delay.
Mr. Egbert Benedict. I didn't expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon. And certainly not like this.
Thank you for complying with the court subpoena at such short notice, sir.
But of course, my lord, as an upstanding member of London society, it is my pleasure to oblige.
Now, kindly state your name and occupation for the record.
Ashley Graydon, Communications Officer. Mr. Graydon and I both work at London's Central Communication Station. Now, perhaps somebody would kindly explain what all this is about. You were apprised of the situation with the court officer on the way here, I presume? Yes, I was. Something to do with a murder that took place at a pawnbroker's on Baker Street. Then some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question. That is the accusation, indeed. This really is beyond a joke, you know. Poor Speedwagon, how far you fall?
Very well, without further delay, the court will hear your testimony now, Mr. Graydon. You will respond to the accusation made against you under oath.
Actually, I do have a Twitch emote for Speedwagon. I just remember that. Gladly, my lord, gladly. The accusation. Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbroking services from time to time. But you are seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder. I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation. Even if certain parties here present claim that my blood was found at the scene. Some Scaramouche detectives' homebrewed tincture can hardly be taken as serious evidence. Alright, so we know he was hit and wounded. We need to be able to find the wound on him.
So, you deny the accusation completely, do you?
I must say I am dismayed for the highest court in the land to be swayed by this self-professed detective's toy. It was the will of the jury, and the great British justice system demands the jury will be upheld. Then it would seem we have the misfortune of a most inept assembly of jurors today.
My golly!
How long am I expected to be detained here?
If, following the defense's cross-examination, your involvement in this matter has not been established, you will be free to leave immediately.
Good. Then I shall be away in time for afternoon tea. Some small consolidation, at least.
Let us not uphold Mr. Graydon any longer than...
this is getting very reminding me of the first trial. Where the one, whatever the fuck her name was,
wanted to leave every second that she could possibly be here. Let us not hold up Mr. Grayson any longer than necessary. Council, proceed with cross. I wonder if we're going to be covered in ducks as well. I mean, his fake name did have Egbert in it. So, we meet again, Mr. Egbert Benedict. Or is it Mr. Graydon? My apologies. You are Reno Skinner or Hodo, defense lawyer. We have met. If you say so, Ashley Graydon, enchanted. So... I trust we can conclude this quickly. But I'm not holding your flashy hat while we do it. Oh my, please tell me he does. I swear to God, if he has a twin, I'm gonna freak. Not only was there a third person there, but I also have a twin. The accusation. Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbroking services from time to time. But are you seriously suggesting... Oh, wait, we gotta go back. This is the cross part.
Hold it!
Yes, we even met in the very pawnbrokery where the crime took place in the afternoon of the day in question. Though, of course, you introduced yourself by a different name at that time. It was Mr. Egbert Benedict, I believe.
Objection!
Tell me, what made you... The witness is here to testify about events that took place that night. Huh? He is under no obligation to answer such unrelated questions. You can't be serious. Thank you, because I certainly do not feel inclined to answer such a inappropriate question. So he's going to be evasive, is he? In an effort to not give anything away. This could be tricky. Yeah, he must have learned the lesson of shut the fuck up Friday. The best way to not get in trouble is just not say shit. But are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder?
Hold it!
Have you seen these two men before? This pair? No, I don't associate with criminals. Said by a man who introduced himself as Egbert Benedict. I'd like to know who I have to thank for this. Who made this outlandish accusation against me? The young lawyer there in the black. This is a farce. Whose idea was it to permit an outsider to work in a British court anyway? Ugh. Well, needless to say, I have no intention of admitting to such outrageous accusations.
Hold it!
Where were you around 1 in the morning on the night in question, sir? That is past the hour at which I would normally retire. Certainly. I was not in the company of these rapscallions. You're able to prove that?
Objection!
Listen carefully, my learned Nipponese friend, for you appear to be under a gross misapprehension. Misapprehension on this point. What do you mean? The witness maintains he was not at the scene of the crime. He has no obligation to prove his absence. If your accusation is that the witness was present at the scene, the obligation lies with you to prove the assertion. Ugh. You will fulfill that obligation before putting any more unreasonable questions to the witness. Silent victory wiggle. Thanks. Everybody likes to jiggle. Even if a certain parties are present claim that my blood was found at the scene, some Scaramouche detective... Oops. Back up. I forgot that, you gotta press everything.
Hold it!
Blood was found at the scene of the crime. There's no question of that. Mr. Sholmes' chemical analysis has positively identified the substance as such. But I am not the only human to have blood running through my veins, am I? How can you be sure the blood is mine? And it could equally be the blood of one of these two miscreants. Every individual's blood has a slightly different composition, it seems. Mr. Sholmes' chemical is able to differentiate between... Spare me the science lesson. Who is this Sholmes character anyway? Oh, I assumed all Londoners would know the name. He's a great, well, a renowned detective. So even you are unable to bring yourself to say the great detective. A great detective, you say? Tisk. Now we're in the realm of fairy tales. Also, he's still literally using the fake cane with the wrong initials on it.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Skulkin?
What, me?
No, the Mr. Skulkin next to you.
Oh, I've had it up to here with this. How many times have I got to tell you?
Yes, I know, you're not Big Bruv Sulky. Mr. Nash Skulkin.
Yeah, God blimey, Governor, you what?
Is it not the case that when Mr. Graydon just spoke, a thought went through your mind? Would you care to share the thought with the court?
Me thoughts? I don't have none of them. Must have been him.
You what?
Mr. Nash Skulkin, answer the question, please. What went through your mind when Mr. Grayson just spoke?
Nothing, honest, Gov, nothing. I just was thinking. If he waves his arm around like that much more, I'll open up the wound again. That's...
Oh, well, thank you for that one. What wound?
Where took the bullet, of course. It was only 2 days ago.
All right, well, okay. Well, it would have been a little bit more neat if we got around to this a different way, but all right, just pure stupidity. All right. They couldn't think of any other way to get us to notice, like maybe his leaking blood out of his wound or something. But all right, whatever.
There, he took the bullet, of course. It was only 2 days ago. It ain't gotta be healed up yet. So I was, well, you know, I was worrying for him and, oh, hell's bells.
Mr. Graydon, did you hear that? What? Your comrade is worried about you, it seems. On account of your injured arm.
My lord?
Yes, Mr. Graydon.
I have no idea what these two wretches are talking about. Certainly, I shouldn't be expected to answer anything in relation to their mindless insinuations.
We know that someone other than the victim was hit by a bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago. Then, from the height of the bullet hole in the wall, that person was likely hit in the upper arm or thereabouts. Perhaps you'd allow the court official to examine your arm, sir. The left arm that you're currently clasping with your right hand, as if in pain.
No, I refuse. Huh? You have shown no evidence whatsoever that links me to these common thieves. Accordingly, I am not obliged to permit any such invasion of my privacy.
Goes back to holding his arm.
As I've already said, I'm completely uninvolved in all of this. I've never had anything to do with the pawnbrokery with a fellow...
Well, we have the picture with you fucking in it, bro.
Where the fellow was killed whatsoever. I take offense at the insinuation that I was in any way involved.
You claim to have nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Windibank's pawnbrokery.
My lord, the defense would like one last statement to be added to the Grayson's formal testimony.
Very well, counsel. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Graydon.
The bottom line is, I've never had anything to do with the pawnbroking establishment where the man was killed.
Oh, the picture's not here yet? They're not going to submit the picture until we... Okay, sure.
Hold it!
It's not it's not submitted in the evidence yet. That's why. Never had anything to do with it. You forget that I was there, Mr. Graydon, on the very afternoon of the incident. Obviously, I am not a complete stranger to the pawnbrokers. I'm currently on the lookout for an armchair to furnish my study. No, you were there to redeem an article. I have no idea what you're talking about. Here we go.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Inspector?
Hey, come again, sunshine.
You were there too, in fact, weren't you, Inspector? That afternoon.
Well, yes, I do remember meeting yourself in the pawnbrokers that afternoon. You, your young Japanese assistant, and the accused were all present, as I recall.
And at that time, the witness, Mr. Graydon, was trying to acquire a particular article.
Well now.
Huh?
I'm afraid I don't remember too clearly.
What? But you must.
I'm not going along and pretend I remember something that I don't.
Huh? What's going on here?
Gregsy showed us a picture before, didn't he? You know, from the cameras that Hurley installed in Windibanks.
Yes, of course.
Indeed, and the gentleman pictured bears a striking resemblance to the witness, I must say.
Exactly, which proves that Mr. Grayson was in the shop on the afternoon in question. At no point have I denied that fact. Huh? I merely entered the shop to peruse the articles on sale and have a word with the broker. Nothing more. This makes no sense. I understand why Mr. Graydon might be trying to cover his tracks. But why would Gregson be trying to avoid giving testimony about what happened? That's all he's going to say on the matter, is it?
What do you think, Runo?
I think he has no intention of telling us anything. He's well aware that the less he says, the less chance he has of giving himself away.
Huh. The complete opposite of Hurley, then. He seems to think the more he says, the better.
Well, at least I managed to prise a little information from the witness's lips. All thanks to the Skulkin brothers.
Yes, they were the key to it after all.
So he says he had nothing to do with Windibanks. Well, we know that's not true.
Perhaps now would be a good time to have a proper look through the court record.
Good idea. You never know what tiny scrap of information could become a valuable weapon. So, we can't really produce the disc because he'll say, who cares what color is on it? It doesn't matter. Unless we're going to show that he has a scrape on his finger that matches where he cut himself on the disc, but he already won't show us the other wound, so that's just to show the pictures together. That's just the guns. That's the McGilded case. This is still the paper. I don't think that's gonna... Because technically that's not even in the court record, right? Unless it is, then that would be very weird.
Hold it!
Yes, we even met in the pawnbrokery where the... And this is all stuff I've done before, right? Yeah.
Objection!
Is there some way of getting him on the cane? I never had anything to do with it. Am I supposed to show him the disc?
Objection!
Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Graydon? Why is that supposed to mean something?
This disc was, until the day of his murder, in pawn in Mr. Windibank's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, that afternoon. However, somebody mysteriously appeared to try and take it from her. And that somebody was you, of course. Wasn't it, Mr. Graydon? As I have reiterated numerous times now, you are mistaken. That was not me. I never seen that disc before in my life. It may have escaped your notice, but there's a small smear of blood on the disc. Oh, I guess this was the right one.
Oh yes, resulting from the abrasion on the thumb, perhaps.
That's right. The surface of the disc is covered in hundreds of tiny metal bumps. In the skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person we tried to take it from suffered minor lacerations. So, while the disc bears the remnants of a skirmish in the form of a smear of blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also, in the form of a scratch.
Good gracious, indeed it must.
Mr. Graydon, you refused to allow the court officer to examine your arm before. Are you now going to refuse to allow us to examine your thumb? Because I have no doubt that it bears a small scratch consistent with the smear of blood on the disc.
No.
Well, well. It would seem I underestimated you.
What is the meaning of this?
So you admit it now. You admit to have a scratch on your thumb from when you attempted to take the disc from the defendant.
Order! Order! Well, Mr. Grayson?
It would appear there has been something of a misunderstanding here. I did not attempt to take the disc, as you put it. No, quite the reverse. What are you trying to say? It's really quite simple, you see. The disc was mine from the outset. Is there some crime in taking an item that you own out of pawn?
What?
It would seem, Mr. Graydon, that in this piece of evidence, my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about the disc now. As you wish, though I'm quite sure it has nothing whatsoever to do with the pawnbroker's murder. I mean, like, this entire, every single witness we've had so far in this particular trial has one, like, just every single thing they said is constant lie after lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. Like, the two brothers on the side, we literally caught them lying 3 times in a row. And now it's just like, oh, damn, he was just going to pull the same trick again. There's a note on the disc saying, "For McGilded," but the item belongs to me. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy gutterling on the day in question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later the same night. And this would have gone even worse if the cop wasn't covering for him now, if Inspector Gregson wasn't covering for him, which is weird. It definitely has something to do with the big fair, the World's Fair thing that's going to be happening in the second half of this game, but...
Did I hear you correctly, sir? Mr. McGill, did you say? The famous London philanthropist, who perished in his very courtroom 2 months ago after being acquitted of a distinctly messy murder.
Yes, my lord. The one and same.
Good lord! Mr. Graydon! Are you saying that Mr. McGilded and yourself were acquainted?
Yes, that's correct. Is that him pausing to try to wonder if he should admit it or not? Probably.
Order! Well, I certainly didn't expect to hear that name uttered here in my courtroom again.
According to what Gina told us, the disc was placed in pawn on that fateful night 2 months ago. McGilded himself gave instructions to deposit it at Windibank's.
It's funny that Mr. Graydon here is claiming the disc belongs to him then, isn't it?
In all likelihood, he's lying. So he appeared that afternoon at Windibanks in order to get his hands on McGilded's disc for some reason.
Counsel, you will commence your cross-examination, please.
The disc. There's a note on the disc saying, "For McGilded, but the item belongs to me."
Hold it!
Would you care to explain how this belongs to you? As you will observe, a communications officer such as myself commands a fine salary.
You are certainly exquisitely dressed, sir.
So you can see I have little need to make use of the services provided by the pawnbrokery trade. However, I did once find myself in difficulties having misplaced my purse whilst on an errand, which is why I pawned my fine black overcoat to the broker in question. You claim that was your overcoat? Obviously, and in my haste, I clean forgot that the music box disc was in its pocket. And yet, there is a note on it that reads, "For McGilded." I am a collector of rare and unusual music box music. I first met Mr. McGilded at a gentleman's club in the city, and was interested to discover that he shared my penchant in that area.
So, the disc in question.
Okay, this guy's problem is he's making up like incredibly swaths of lies here. Like he's just making up crazy shit that we can easily nail him on later. It's a pre-production sample. I promised to let Mr. McGilded hear it. But then you forgot that it was in the pocket of the overcoat you were forced to pawn. Yes, exactly.
Gina didn't mention any of that in her testimony 2 months ago, did she?
No, because McGilded had threatened her to keep her mouth shut. Which means that if we dug too deeply here, it's gonna expose Gina's perjury.
Oh dear, this is complicated, isn't it?
Let's leave it alone for the time being. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused. That filthy gutterling in the day in question.
Hold it!
I mean, if anything, he's a bullshit collector. So, you're saying that Miss Lestrade lifted the ticket from your pocket or bag? That's right, despite being mindful of danger when walking in the insalubrious... God, that is a fucking mouthful to say. Insalubrious areas her kind frequents. Miss Lestrade did no such thing. Well, of course you would make that stance, but the girl's a regular offender. You came to the pawnbrokery that day prepared with all the information you need to identify the defendant. You were looking for her. That's what brought you to the Windibanks. I mean, true. There has been, I mean, I guess what they do is they just, like, lightly threaten you. Don't lie again. Or if they do lie, it's just, aha, we proved you're lying. Now let's continue. But it's not like they're going, like, they're not going far enough to be, like, declaring mistrials and shit. Which, because, you know, if you did that, the case just would never continue. But it has been refreshing to see that there's a couple things that they're actually following up on in this. Like, actually caring about when a witness lies or something perjury. Or, like we saw earlier, the idea that some crazy invention that identifies blood of the victim. Normally, it feels like in older Ace Attorney games, that just would have been, like, hand-waved as, oh, of course that happens, of course. But in this one, they're like, oh, no, yeah, of course it's, you know, this is some crazy bullshit science fiction we've never seen before. Let's question it now. We were looking for her, so that's what brought you to Windibanks? To get your hands on McGilded's disc?
Objection!
My learned friend is a veritable font of nonsense. Nonsense?
I concur with the prosecution. The counsel, you will refrain from conjecturing this way. Is that clear?
Yes, my lord. Then I will continue with my testimony for what possible use it can be. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article.
Hold it!
Had you ever been to Windibanks before? Only once for the purposes of pawning something. But like many, I enjoy browsing in such establishments. So when you noticed that the pickpocket had taken your ticket, you chased after her. Is that correct? Yes, that's right. I didn't notice at first, of course. Such is the art of the pickpockets. But when I did, I headed to the pawnbrokery at once in order to redeem my coat before the thief could. Objection! Gina, the night before the crime, showed us all how to pickpocket. I would like to prove to the court that I can pickpocket something from someone here now without them noticing. So how could Mr. O'Graden have noticed that a pickpocket stole it? Ugh. How can he say he likes because he can say what he likes because he knows we have no evidence to contradict him on this? In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police.
Hold it!
Yes, it was taken by Inspector Gregson here, wasn't it? That's right. It was this very man. Apparently, the police are collecting anything that has a connection to Mr. McGilded as evidence.
Excuse me!
Is something wrong, Inspector?
What you mean?
The last remark Mr. Graydon made in his testimony seemed to trouble you in some way.
No, it didn't. It's nothing. Leave it alone.
Let me ask you this, Inspector. Why is Scotland Yard gathering Mr. McGilded's possessions?
I can't tell you something like that, sunshine.
What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets?
Yes, exactly. You should all know that by now.
Magnus McGilded, who died so unexpectedly after his trial 2 months ago. A man renowned throughout the capital for his great contributions to public life. Yet he had a dark side too. Huh?
Where are you going on with this, Van Zeeks?
I suppose... the police are dealing with the aftermath of his nefarious activities, are they?
That's enough. Coppers like me have duties to carry out and we're not at liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know.
Duties conferred by Lord Strongheart, I presume. The Lord Chief Justice appears to have great faith in you, Inspector.
The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me, you're gonna need Lord Strongheart's paw print first.
What's all this about? It's like there's something going on between Gregson and Lord Van Zeeks here.
Well, it would appear that the inspector has reveled all these liberty.
Okay, so Van Zeek said that he doesn't like people who are liars and betrayers. Now, he said that I was such a person, but I don't think he truly means me. I think he's just saying that just to say it. So yeah, he's definitely trying to get at the higher-ups because we were appointed to be McGilded's lawyer by the High Chief Justice, and the High Chief Justice told us it was going to be an easy case. So he knew McGilded already planned to falsify evidence. So he knew from the beginning that he was going to get off. So this is definitely something to go after the High Chief Justice. And it definitely has something to do with why Sasada was sent home. We'll probably find that out later. I wonder how that's going to be connected. Because I'm pretty sure that Sasado's father might not be sick. And that she's actually stealing information. Because the communications lady said that somebody's stealing information. And bringing it to another country. So that might be Sasado being a spy. But that's with the High Lord Justice being in collusion. Maybe the High Chief Justice is going after some other case.
and wanted McGilded to be alive or to not be convicted for some reason. Well, we'll find that out as the story goes. Well, probably in the next half of the game anyway. Probably not now.
Well, it would appear that the inspector has revealed all but at liberty to reveal. Mr. Graydon, let us return to your testimony.
Gladly, my lord. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later the same night.
Hold it!
But perhaps you'd seen something of value among the forfeited items. No. So, the reason why he went in there... The reason why he probably went in there is... There was supposed to be something else inside the coat. He said that when he confronted us. So, even though Scotland Yard confiscated one of the discs, he also wanted the other one, I assume. Yeah, because I know there's... I was thinking about, like, this is the second half. I at the beginning, I didn't even know there was a second half to the game. I was getting kind of disappointed, being like, wait, I mean, the game's almost over? And then I found out that there's more, and I went, oh, okay, good. Thank God there's a second half. But yeah, one of the fun things about this is being able to kind of, like, make up ideas of what happened. Because a lot of the earlier cases, there's a lot of information that hasn't been talked about and kind of got skipped over in previous cases. And it's trying to, like, keep that information in mind. Like the one where the lady was stabbed in the back. There's the bicycle with the dent in it. And there's also that very rich and wealthy guy that apparently was living with Mr. Garadeb, but never seen again. And she was apparently bent over in the dark picking up a book. So I don't think she was stabbed in the back then. I think someone ran into her on a bicycle. But that's something that the game can't touch now because you gotta go at the game's pace. There's a lot of untouched information in previous cases that just is gonna, like, sit there. Same thing with, like, the Russian assassin guy. The one girl's cat ran away from her and caused our guy to die. And now the Russian guy has a mouse with him. So did the ballerina's cat go after the Russian assassin's mouse or something shit like that? Now I'm not, like, this is like so much shit that's like feels like it's connected, but you kind of just gotta wait and see and let the game go at its own pace. No, not at all. Oh. The value was brought in the police to assess everything in shop. Without exception, every article on the shelves was common or garden bric-a-brac. In that case, it's clear that you broke into the shop later that day in order to recover McGilded's disc. Have you not been listening, man? Even if I had wanted to recover the disc, you may recall that it had been seized by the police that afternoon. It was no more in the shop that night than as I keep saying, I simply had no reason to break in. So, there was nothing of McGilded's left in the shop that night. Nothing this man might not have been after. I wonder if that's really true. Bruno, if you have some evidence... Yeah. We got... the positive... One small box, 10 shillings... on the 13th of April. So my assumption is he's looking for the small box. Mr. Wyndham appears to have used this back of the photograph to write out a redemption ticket. It is written in very neatly, but still, perhaps he ran out of paper, so he had to use anything he had to hand. Yeah. We still haven't brought up the fact that he's using the photographs to do this on. That's got to show up at some point, right? It's hard to know what the front and what's reverse side now. Also, the camera that took this picture once again is on the outside of the building, which they also haven't brought back. So there's clearly more cameras we haven't seen yet. And it's not this one. £1, because this was for the coat. Unless we're trying to say he went back for the coat, He says it's his coat. Well, here's the thing that deposited the coat, so he would have went back for his coat, even though we know it's not his actual coat. But we're just saying it here just to link him back to the store. Also, the box would have been in pawn by this point, but we haven't found it yet. So the assumption is maybe he already found the box, because the officer said that they weren't even going to bother looking for it. Or maybe that will be a surprise thing that they come up with later, saying, of course we have it, it's right here.
Then let him have it. I'm dying to see that irritatingly assured expression of his crumble.
I'm going to assume it's the coat. Mr. McGilda slipped the disc into his coat pocket and had it deposited at Windibanks. Then, when he realized he was going to be arrested on suspicion of the omnibus murder, he threatened Gina to force her to take the redemption ticket.
There's no doubt about it. That witness is lying through his pearly white teeth.
The police were obviously after anything left behind by McGilda as well. That's why Inspector Gregson ended up taking the disc into custody that day.
But Grexy's being very strange about all this.
There must be a reason for that, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is. For now, I need to focus on exposing the fact that Mr. Graydon is lying in his testimony. There's a note on the disc saying for McGilded, but the item belongs to me. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night. Alright, I'm going to assume we're showing him the ticket for the coat. And we're saying, of course there is. You would have wanted to get your coat back.
Objection.
The witness's last statement is clear at odds with this. Oh, no. Okay, I failed. Oh, I'm sorry, counsel, but I failed to see connection. Oh, for heaven's sake. Could you... Yeah. We'll just fast forward through that. Absolutely no reason to break into the shop that same night. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation with the Americal. That's whatever. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy guttling on the day in question. Are we supposed to show that it was Gina who came in with the ticket in the first place? Was I right on the evidence but wrong where I was presenting it?
Objection.
That reveals a damning consistency in the last statement. Damning, you say? No. Okay, that's not it either. There's a note on the disc saying for McGilda, but the item belongs to me. Alright. For McGilda. That's the man you defended.
That's the man you defended in court a couple of months ago, isn't it, Runo?
Yes, or rather, mistakenly defended.
I wonder what his name is doing on the back of this disc.
That's a question I'll know the answer to myself. No, it's not that. Yeah. You can usually tell when they start getting more dramatic that you've got it right. It's none of this. It's not the gun. It has to be one of the older... It's not the manuscript. Is it actually supposed to be the ticket box here? Because it's not like his coat is in evidence, so I can't say, oh, of course you went back for the coat. And it's going to be none of this. Unless I'm supposed to show the music disc and say, well, there was a second one you wanted, isn't it? I hope that's not what they want. It's either where I'm presenting it or what I'm presenting.
And it's none of this evidence. None of that evidence has anything to do with it. I guess maybe it is this one to show. Is it his last statement? In other words, I have absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night. Yeah, might as well give it a shot.
Objection!
The disc was deposited at Windibanks on Magnus McGilda's instructions. You knew that, and you went there with the intention of obtaining it for yourself.
Objection!
Conjecture again, and in any case, the disc was taken into custody by the police that afternoon. The witness had no reason to visit the pawnbrokery again that night.
Objection!
Sorry, my learned friend, but that's not true. What? Mr. McGilded had another article in pawn at Windibanks. As this, the second pawnbroker's ticket proves. Ugh. There were 2 articles belonging to Mr. McGilded in Windibanks pawnbrokery, and the reason you broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one. Together with your 2 accomplices, the Skulkin brothers. Ugh. Oh, this is the second ticket, is it? What had the man deposited? The article description reads, 1 small box. A rather vague description, it seems to me. Are you suggesting that I broke into the pawnbrokery with these clowns in order to steal some trinket box? I believe there are adequate grounds to suspect that you did. This is absurd. Why on earth would I do such a thing? Once the article had been forfeited, I could simply walk into the shop and purchase it. There would be absolutely no need for me to resort to theft. That's a good point. Oh, indeed. The witness makes a solid argument.
So that means that for some reason, this Graydon fellow needed the small box that very night, does it?
Objection!
It's time to put an end to this nonsense, my lord.
Could you be a little less cryptic, Lord Van Zeeks?
I do hate to ruin my learned friend's argument, but the truth is quite incontrovertible. On the night in question, no small box was taken from Windibanks pawnbrokery. Then rest assured, the prosecution can prove it.
What? Oh, gracious!
Inspector, show the photographic prints to the court, if you please.
Yes, sir.
What prints?
These prints were taken from one of the detective's security cameras.
Ah, Hurley's red-handed recorders again.
As previously explained using this plan of the shop layout. The victim establishment was furnished with automatic cameras in 2 locations. One was set to capture the counter where Mr. Windibank received customers, and the other was set to capture the shelves in which appliances or articles were placed on sale once forfeited.
According to the information on this ticket, McGilded's small box had been forfeited already, 2 days before the incident, at 9 p.m., 13th April to be precise, which means it would have been on the shelves of forfeited items in the shop front. Now, what I have here is a print taken by one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident. That's at 11 p.m. on 15th of April.
Huh. The victim certainly had a very full shop.
Oh, the victim certainly had a very full shop, it appears. And then here we have another print. This one was taken about 2 hours after the incident. I see. So we have 2 pictures to compare.
I wonder what we're going to be doing with that.
Although I must say that placing them side by side leaves me cold. Dear me, that's starting to make my head ache. Obviously, at Scotland Yard, we considered theft as one possible motive in the case. We explore the possibility that something has been taken in addition to the victim's life. So your men have already compared these two prints thoroughly, Inspector? Yes, sir. We counted every single item in each of these two photographic prints. And the conclusion is that exactly the same number are present in both. Ah.
In other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbrokery on the night in question. And my learned friend's assertion is nothing more than a hopeful fantasy.
Ah.
I don't believe it. If I could have just shown that he'd stole McGilded's pawn box,
I might have been able to break him down at last.
You know what, Bruno? It's time to do the thing. I've been thinking. I wonder if these two photographs are really exactly the same.
What? So, counsel, in light of the evidence put forward by the prosecution, what is your position? It seems that in fact, on the night in question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment. Do you accept the prosecution's assertion?
I don't know. Could there be some hidden discrepancy in these two photographic prints somewhere? Use a piece of evidence. Before I give my answer, my lord, I'd like to try something if I may.
Try something? What do you mean, counsel?
I'll need to use a certain piece of evidence from the court record to identify this discrepancy.
Oh, I'm not entirely sure I follow. Which piece of evidence do you intend to use to help you identify the discrepancy between the prints?
I mean, come on, what do you think I'm using?
Take that!
I'd like to use this device, my lord, to view the two prints stereoscopically. Whoa! Yes, you've caught the bug at last. You can't resist it, can you? We've got cross-eyed compulsion. Juror number 3, what a surprise.
Come on, Bruno. Let's put the pictures in place and see what this wonderful contraption shows us. There we go. Now, look through the eyepiece.
Dun, dun, dun. Huh? I wasn't sure at first, but there's a clear discrepancy between these two prints. What?
You must identify the location in question for the court, counsel.
Indicate the precise location of the discrepancy in which you speak. I mean, I don't know why they're asking me. It's literally the only thing. But sure, they could just point it out and not have me do this. But sure.
Take that!
Granted, these two prints are almost identical means not identical. However, there is one minor discrepancy between them.
What?
When you view the two pictures stereoscopically, a single area stands out as being different: the location of this small box. Let me wait. Unbelievable!
By Jove, you're right. Yeah, how extraordinary.
What this tells us is very simple. Mr. McGilded's small box was indeed not stolen from Windibanks on the night in question. However, there could be no doubt that somebody picked up a particular box and then returned it to the place on the shelves.
Are you suggesting that the small box originally deposited by Mr. McGilded is in fact...
Yes, the very same small box I just identified in these photographic prints.
Objection!
Mindless guesswork. What if it was? Huh? So a box was moved on the shelf. Nothing was stolen. Which means, quite simply, that nothing has changed. Yeah, I saw the same thing with the shelf. Once you took a look at it, you could see, oh yeah, it was moved slightly over to the right. And then I assume if I looked at the box, I could notice if it's moved slightly to someplace. But once you know that there's the discrepancy there, you can see it. But if you didn't know there was one, it kind of is almost like unless you're better than me, you ain't seeing it.
That may be true, but alright, McGilded's box wasn't stolen then. But doesn't the fact that it was moved like that change? It changes everything. I believe this changes everything about the case. How can that possibly be? The crucial point is the fact that it was moved, that what was moved was a small box. In other words, we have to consider what might have been inside that box. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that we need to examine that box as soon as possible. A vital piece of evidence is sitting on the shelves at Windibanks as we speak.
Objection!
That won't be necessary. Some little box belonging to a man who died 2 months ago can't possibly be relevant to this trial.
The court does not uphold your objection, Lord Van Zeeks. Bailiff, arrange for an officer to go to Baker Street at once, obtain the small box in question, and bring it back here for further examination.
Also, this is probably like the smartest judge we've had. Smarter than he's ever been.
Oh, I see. I need you to show me another piece of evidence to make me want to get that box. We should have a report within half an hour. I think perhaps we should recess for a short while till the evidence is brought forth.
To be hoodwinked by such a farce. Humph. Disappointing.
I beg your pardon, Lord Van Zeeks.
This is nothing but a smoke screen. A Nimponi speciality, it would seem. No, that's a Gina speciality. What are you trying to say? My learned friend has persisted with the same line of reasoning from the very beginning. That this witness's intent was to steal an article belonging to Mr. McGilded from the pawnbrokery. Yet common sense tells us that none of the articles have value enough to be worth stealing in the first place.
Exactly. It would be beyond absurd to break into a place for the purpose of stealing such commonplace property.
If your lordship recalls, Mr. McGilded perished 2 months ago, immediately after conclusion of this trial. A trial in which he was found not guilty. A trial in which it was established he was an upstanding member of society and reputation and pride, in fact. So I propose a toast to my learned friend in his most insightful defense. Huh? The articles as upstanding member of society pawned were entirely ordinary. A black overcoat that just happened to have a music box disc in one of its pockets, and a small box. I assure you, I wouldn't accept even if the man tried to make a gift of such things to me. But you've already said that you were never in there. Twice. And now you're saying you know the box? I guess, actually not, never mind, I retract that. It's not as if it was gold jewels, but you can't deposit cash at a pawnbrokery, it's quite certain of that.
The prosecution's argument is undeniably compelling.
It is incumbent on the defense now to bolster its argument. To explain what possible significance these commonplace articles pawned by the fine citizen could have.
Huh? Well, counsel, you are in fact demonstrable or demonstrable. Are you able to show off proof that the disc or the box in any tangible way related to the case?
Well,
What's the matter, Runo? We know that they're related, don't we? They're both vital pieces of evidence.
yes, of course. You and I both know that. We know McGilded's true character, and we know the disc is significant, even if we don't know why. But if we explain all that to the court at this point, we'll have to acknowledge that McGilded's acquittal 2 months ago was a mistake, that the defense's argument was flawed, based on false information.
Oh no.
And that would mean admitting Gina committed perjury.
But Ginny,
Could it be that Van Zieks knows? Is that why he's doing now? Because he anticipated everything? No, so what I see Van Zieks doing is Van Zieks probably thinks that we're the Chief Justice's accomplice. And we just so happen to be the idiot he threw in to do the dirty work. So Van Zieks keeps showing up at our trials because he thinks we're in league with whatever the Chief Justice is doing. And that's why he thinks we're more unscrupulous than we seem. But the best case probably is admitting that we were wrong. And that, you know, and being like, you know, showing that we didn't mean to get him off. It was just what happened in the end there.
but maybe this could be a great opportunity for us.
Sorry? What do you mean, Iris?
Well, isn't that what you always say, Runo? Sooner or later, the truth comes out. Every time.
Yeah. Us admitting that he got off and faked the evidence is the best thing we can possibly do. Even if it gets her in trouble with the perjury thing. Perjury is way better than her getting fucking killed for this. Alright, the exact significance of the things that McGilda deposited with Mr. Windibank is something that only Gina can explain to the court. But if I put her on the stand to testify about that, it could critically damage our chances of winning this case. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The perjury charge versus getting... Because remember, if you're tried for murder and fail, you're executed. So I don't think execution is the punishment for perjury. How's Gina testify? My lord, the defense would like to make a proposal. Oh, what proposal, counsel? While the court awaits the arrival of Mr. McGilden's small box, I would like to call the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, to the witness stand. The defendant? To what end? It's to do with the various articles deposited at Windibank's by Mr. McGilden, my lord. Miss Lestrade has information related to them. I believe it would be beneficial for the court to hear what she has to say. It will prove the significance of the articles in question once and for all. Well, things are becoming interesting. I presume you've considered the implications of the testimony you're proposing. In particular, the impact it will have on the accused standing, and indeed your own. I have. Lord Van Zieks, would you care to explain that last remark? The prosecution accepts the defense's proposal. I move to interrupt the cross-examination of the current witness and hear from the accused herself. Very well, if you have no objection. So the court will now hear the testimony of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. Your witness is currently in the stand, may step down until further notice. Then I shall bid you good day. Wait. You, sir, shall remain in the stand while Mr. Lestrade testifies. As you wish. Alright then, Gina. It's time. I know this will be hard, but please, put your faith in me here.
Good luck, Runo.
Alright, if they're gonna do a... No, okay. Alright, so I have an important question to ask. Hot Cocoa, you said that you were on the second... that you were already past this point. I only have about 50 minutes left in me before I have to leave. Is the end of this case finishable in 50 minutes? Or should I just end here? Because I'm aiming to end here right now and finish this off tomorrow, but if it's like, oh, you only have 30 minutes of case left, then I'll go on, but if it's like another 2 hours or so, I'll be going way over my time limit. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the game here, since this is a good ending point for the new witness hitting the stand and everything, so we're not getting any new information yet. So what I'll be doing here is I will save the game. And I'll be picking up again here tomorrow about the same time, which for me was about 3 p.m. EST. But I'll probably be picking this game up again around the same time, which with another almost 4 hours, I should be able to finish it off. So, yeah, this has been good doing the Ace Attorney. I'm sorry for having to end it early last night. I just had a couple phone calls I really had to take, and it took a couple hours for me to finish it off. So I put in at least a little bit extra time today, which was a good amount of time to put in. Also, thank everyone for watching the stream, and once again, thank you for that donation. I never actually got one before, so thank you very much. I'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll continue Ace Attorney and finish this half of the game. Anyway, thank you all for watching, everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow.